Welcome to Gen X Adulting, and today we have Nick with us. Thank you for joining us in the studio today.
Thank you for having me.
So the first question we always ask is, what year were you born?
1997.
Okay, so you're a Gen Z Zillennial. Do you know what a Zillennial is?
I didn't know what a Zillennial was, and then I heard that episode you guys had with Ben, and now I
Yes.
do know what a Zillennial is.
Okay.
All right.
So you know that, and for any listeners who haven't listened yet to the other episodes about Zillennials, but to sum it up, Zillennials kind of got the best of both worlds. You got most of your childhood old school before technology entered the picture. You were the generation of flip phones, Snapchat, Instagram, all that kind of entered your world high school.
It started off in middle school a little
Middle
bit,
school, okay.
like towards the end of middle school.
Okay. And then you actually did use Facebook, right? That was one of your socials that you guys would use?
Oh yeah, it
Yeah.
was MySpace in elementary school, but you weren't really allowed to have a MySpace.
Right. Okay. So you guys actually had exposure to MySpace?
I can't say you guys.
Yeah.
I had a cousin that would make me a
Uh.
MySpace, and I would go over to my grandparents' house, and that's where I would operate the MySpace.
Okay. Okay.
But
All
my
right.
parents' house, obviously not allowed
No
to have a
MySpace.
MySpace. I didn't have a cell phone in elementary school.
Okay. Yeah. So that makes
Yeah.
sense. So if you could figure out a way, like if you had a connection of an older cousin, sibling, friend,
Yeah.
you could kind of do the MySpace thing. But for when you settled into social media, that was more like Facebook, I would assume,
Facebook.
and Instagram. Now, do you personally still use, like what platforms would you say for your personal life you still use?
I use Instagram the most.
Okay.
TikTok, I try to get into, but I use it mostly for the brand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking to get back on Twitter, X, however you want to call it,
Right.
just because of how entertaining it is, honestly.
Yeah.
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 Like,
Yeah.
You see some funny shit on there.
Yeah.
And Facebook is pretty outdated,
Yes.
Yeah.
to be honest.
I think it's more Gen Xers, boomers that are on
Yeah.
there, maybe older millennials, but I don't
Yeah.
think the Gen Zs are on there.
I think the same people that are using Facebook as their main source of social media are the same people that utilize LinkedIn a lot.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably really true.
Yeah.
So do you know anyone your age that still uses Snapchat regularly?
Honestly, yeah. Most
Yeah?
of my friends do. I don't use Snapchat as much as I used to
Mm-hmm.
because it used to be huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now I tried to stay off social media because of the amount of doom scrolling
Mhm.
and stuff
Yeah.
that I used to do.
Right.
Like I don't have any notifications on for any social media platform,
Okay.
but I need to be on Instagram often and TikTok often for the business.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you try to unplug when you can.
Yeah,
And one of the ways is to not let notifications come through.
exactly.
Do you find do you still watch TV or use streaming services, or has I guess you're not on social media as much, you're saying, like 'cause for some people they're on TikTok more than they are watching Netflix or watching streaming services. It's become their form of entertainment. Would you say that's the case with you?
I wouldn't say so. I would say I'm on Instagram a good amount. I'd be lying to say if I didn't, because
Yeah.
I have a 2-hour timer on my phone
Okay.
where it'll let me know, like, hey, you've reached 2 hours on Instagram, get off, and I'll just ignore it. But it's I do take my time to watch certain TV shows, because I mean you need to turn off your brain sometimes.
It's true.
So that'll be my dessert basically at night.
Yeah.
I'll throw in like an episode of a show or documentary or something that isn't related to what I'm doing at the moment.
It's interesting to think about that because it used to be, at least when we were growing up, you watch too much TV, it mushes your brain. Like our parents would be like, don't watch so much TV. And now I feel like with social media, your brain is so engaged when you're scrolling that watching TV has become the relaxing thing. And that just shows,
Actually,
I think,
it's an interesting concept.
Yeah, I
didn't
think
even
it
think of
shows
that.
how
I do that.
yeah,
It's like if I want to tune out now, I almost throw on TV,
right.
which is crazy.
But for at least Gen Xers, and I don't know about you growing up, but we were like, our parents literally would say, it's going to ruin your brain. You're watching too much TV, all of that. But I think with social,
I think that's true. There's a lot of fucked up stuff on TV, but
yeah, but I mean, it was more like just constantly watching TV.
Yeah,
That's what they meant.
used to tell us too, if you're sitting too close to the TV, you're going to get,
You would
whatever
turn
that
blind.
was.
you'd get blind.
You'll go
Yes.
blind. Yeah, yeah.
My parents wouldn't
Something.
let me sit close to the TV.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so
you'll go blind.
okay,
yeah.
so you heard that too to
Yeah.
some degree.
Yeah.
And then you think about with social media, there's so much stimulation going on. And your brain is always going, and it's so quick that when you want to chill, you put on television. Yeah.
I'm curious on Instagram, if you're on, say, for a while, is it personal and pleasure? Like, are you doing research while you're on, or kind of both, I guess?
So, yes, for the most part,
Yeah.
it is research, but again, the algorithm,
Yep.
Yeah.
you're getting hit with everything that your brain wants to see. It's based on your preferences.
Yeah.
So I'll go to look on someone's page or another brand's page or something to educate me for the business. And then it's, if I swipe up,
Yeah.
then it's stuff about the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now I'm watching football videos for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And
Right.
then it'll go to like food videos, and then it'll go to just whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it has a mind of its own,
Yeah.
but it also is your preferences and what you enjoy to watch. That's
Yeah.
what it's built for.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think it's cool for you guys as Zillennials that you did get most of your childhood before all that was entrapped your brains. Because for the younger kid, like our youngest, like they don't know a world without it. They're the social media generation, the younger Gen Zs. They're the young. You guys are the oldest. They're the youngest, and just that span, how your childhoods can be so different.
World changed pretty damn quick.
Very
actually.
quickly.
It's
So I think you guys are, you really did get, I always say that, the best of both worlds. So where were you born?
I was born in Boca Hospital, actually,
Oh, okay.
but I grew up in Davie Weston.
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically Sunrise, but there's a road, Weston Road, and it separates. It's so weird. It
Oh,
separates Weston and Bonaventure are on this side, and then on this side you have a pocket of Sunrise, which really isn't Sunrise, and
Yeah.
Davie. So then I grew
Okay.
up. Technically, I grew up in Weston,
Okay.
Sunrise, but Weston. I grew up in Weston.
That's
Okay.
interesting.
And did you grow up with both your parents?
I did, but they divorced when I was 5.
And do you know how they met?
Yeah. So my dad was actually supposed to go on a date with my aunt,
Oh, no way.
and she got back with my uncle because they're still married to this day.
Okay.
And my aunt goes to my mom like, really cute guy, he's cool, whatever. You should go out with him. And then
No way.
when he showed
That's
up,
funny.
she's like, hey, like I'm getting back with my
No.
boyfriend. Would
way.
you want to take my sister out? And he's like, sure.
No way.
That's
So
hilarious.
he arrived thinking he was going to take out your aunt, and she was in between making this date with him. She had gotten back together with your uncle,
Yeah.
and then said, "Take out my sister," and he was like, "All right." He just went with it.
Yep.
That's awesome.
From
they
my
twins?
understanding. No. So
Okay.
she is a year or two older than my mom.
Okay.
Okay.
My aunt.
And then do you have siblings?
I do have a little brother.
Okay. So, and what's the space there?
He is 24, 3 years older than him.
Okay.
Okay.
And are you guys still close?
Oh, yeah. He's a partner in YIFNO.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
That's wonderful. So they divorced when you were 5?
Yeah.
Do you have any memories of living with them together?
Oh, yeah. We used to have a house in Coconut Creek. I remember, I mean, I was till I was 5. So it was like, I remember having a Star Wars birthday party there. I remember, I thought the house was haunted.
Why?
You know, when you're a kid and you're going down like the stairs and you go down, like you bump your butt
Yep,
down the
yep.
stairs. Maybe my little kid brain, but something picked me up from one of the stairs and brought me to the bottom stairs. And that has stuck with me since.
Wow, that's
How
wild.
old, how old do you think you were?
I had to have been 4.
So you know what they say about children, that they see spirits and 100% until they hit that age. It's true. Until
Sure.
they hit their consciousness shifts,
Uh-huh.
that they see spirits and spirit, like there's been children talking to spirits and they're 2, 3, 4 years old. So I believe you. I believe you 100%.
I'm still sticking by my story.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it was real for you to still feel that way. I 100% think. believe
Yeah, I
that
mean, you
happened.
seem pretty convinced, so
Yeah.
it's, you know, it's pretty wild. That's cool.
Yeah.
So, but it sounds like it wasn't a negative haunting. It was more,
No, it
they were
wasn't.
helping you out.
Yeah.
So do you have, so when they got divorced, did you, one of the parents have primary custody or was it split?
It was split custody.
So how did they split it? Did you do like 3 days, 3 days, 3 days, 3 days?
So it'd be like 3 days. So it'd be 3 days and 2 days during the weekdays, and they would alternate per week, and then they would alternate weekends.
And for both you guys, both you and your brother?
Yeah.
How was that, doing that?
So we're super blessed that our parents weren't the type to always be arguing with each other or bring us into it. They always made sure that we didn't feel the effect of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was more of like, oh, cool, we have 2 houses now. And we got to see, both of the single parent experiences. So my mother started her own company from like the
Oh.
ground up, like didn't have much money. We didn't want for anything, but we weren't as rich as like the kids that were in Weston, because there's a lot of money in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were like middle class. And I watched her grow her business from 0 to being one of the best interior designers in South Florida.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah. So then I got to see the entrepreneur side. Like, she wouldn't go to bed till 2 a.m., 3 a.m., wake up 6 a.m., back to it. So I
Yeah.
remember waking up when I was like 8 years old, 9 years old. Don't know the exact age. I remember walking in to her office at 4 in the morning. I was like, why are you awake?
Yeah.
And she goes, plata no duerme, which is money doesn't sleep in Spanish. I'm
Oh,
from
okay.
Peru.
That's cool.
Okay.
And I was like, cool, that stuck with me for a long time. And then I had the other side of it, which was my father. And he would go to work early, leave work late, didn't miss a football game, didn't miss a practice, like always there for us. Whatever we needed, we had it.
Mm-hmm.
But he was more the corporate route. So it was cool seeing both sides and them figuring it out themselves and
Mhm.
maneuvering through that. And I didn't realize it at the time, but as I got older, I got to like, put it in perspective. So it was cool to see both sides.
So you got to learn from both of them.
Yeah, 100%.
And you were absorbing it even if you didn't realize it at the
Yeah.
time. It's interesting when you get older and you can look back and you see everything so clearly. And even absorbing it in your subconscious, it's almost like it wakes up once you hit a certain age. You're like, oh, okay, I get that now. That's really cool. I love what her saying is money doesn't sleep. Is that what
Yeah.
she said? Or money never sleeps?
Money doesn't sleep.
Money doesn't sleep. So she's from Peru?
Yeah, she's from Miraflores,
So
in Lima.
when did she come here?
She came here when she was 16 or 17 to go to college. So she went to Nova Southeastern.
Cool.
And
Did she come just her?
she came with my aunt.
Okay.
But my aunt didn't go to school. She went to a culinary school.
So she left her family. Your mom left her family except for her aunt.
Yeah, because Peru was pretty dangerous back then.
Mm.
So, for example, my mom told me a story. Her and my uncle worked at this hotel, and they both took off that day. And the day that they took off, terrorists went in and blew up the entire building.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So what year would that?
She was born in 71, so
The 80s.
yeah.
I didn't realize that about Peru. Did you?
Not specifically, but I know South America was very dangerous back then, for sure.
So the
Fuck.
day. So was it her and her sister, or her and her aunt?
No, my mom and her sister.
So
My aunt.
the day that they left.
Oh no, the 2 that came here, my mom and my aunt, but my uncle and my mom worked there, and then my uncle went and helped like with what happened, the whole
Right.
trying
Right.
to find people and whatnot.
But
Did they have family here that they came to live with, or did they just went to America and made it happen?
Yeah.
And so, but they
That's so
had,
cool.
just to make sure I'm understanding, that like your mom had left and that happened after she left, or she was there when that happened?
Oh, she was there. She just had the day off.
They took a day off.
Oh, they took the day off.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness.
It's very fortuitous, right? And that's a sign, I would assume.
Wow.
It's
Crazy.
she
Wow.
works there every day, and the day that they took off, it gets a terrorist attack.
That's crazy.
Insane.
So
Yeah.
how much longer after that happened did she come here?
The next day.
Yeah, I mean that I'm not sure of. I just know that she came here like 16, 17, started college because
And-
they finished school earlier.
And do you know, were your grandparents both still alive when she came over here?
Oh yeah.
Did she still see them a decent amount?
Not as much, but they were always writing letters back and forth, and getting on a call when they can, because it was different. They didn't really have cell phones and whatnot.
Did you know them growing up? Your
My grandparents?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but so on my mom's side, I'm the oldest
Okay.
of all the cousins, so I had the most time to spend with my grandpa and my grandma. So
Yeah.
my
So-
Nona's still alive. She lives in Peru right now still, and she comes back and forth, and she'll visit and stay with us for long periods of time, or with my mom or my
Mhm.
aunt. And then my grandpa passed away when I was, so my papa passed away when I was in second grade. But yeah, I got the
You got
most
time with
quality
them.
time with him. Like, I remember watching him, letting me watch The Matrix with him when
Oh,
I
that's
was like in
cool.
second grade, and my mom
Cool.
was livid.
Yeah.
She was pissed.
That's actually, though, a movie that you have to think as you're watching it. You have to I feel like that movie uses your brain more than being an action bloody movie. I feel like you have to really pay attention. So
Yeah.
out of all the movies, that one isn't the worst. There are a lot
Yeah,
worse
we would-
movies.
We would like act out the fighting scenes. and
Well, there you
stuff,
go.
And
Yeah.
then, and then I would like see these Sports Illustrated bikini magazines with them. You'd be like, yeah, look at that.
There you go. There you go. There you go. And what about your grandparents on your dad's side?
Grandparents on my dad's side, I super blessed to be with them for a long time. So my papa passed away when I was a sophomore, I think,
Mm.
in college. And then my nana passed away my 5th year in college, I think. Yeah, my 5th year.
Okay.
But amazing people. Like
Yeah.
the stories from both sides of my grandparents are insane. Like my mom's side of my grandpa, my mom's side comes from like a little village in Peru.
Mm.
Like made his way up to being a doctor and opening a practice.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Cool.
he owned horses and whatnot. So we would like go to the horse races out there.
That's
So I have
great.
pictures of all of us like in the winter circle or whatever. And then my grandpa on my dad's side, he, like, I swear you could write a movie on this guy's life. So he was Al Capone's paper boy when he was a kid.
No, wait, where was he from?
Chicago.
Chicago?
No, this is
No?
when Al Capone moved to Miami.
Oh.
So they're from North Miami.
So your dad's side is from
North
Miami, North Miami.
Yeah, North Miami Beach.
He was his paper boy. So what did that entail?
So like like a little kid on a bicycle, like
Yeah.
throwing papers.
Yeah.
And he would come up and give Al Capone his paper. Al Capone used to eat sandwiches with my great grandpa at his grocery store almost every day when he lived here.
No way.
So yeah,
That's
there's
cool.
Are there
that.
pictures?
I have to ask.
I mean, not that
I
we
don't
need to see
know.
them. I'm just curious. You should ask.
This is before
though.
he got killed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should ask for sure. That's amazing.
Yeah, and then after that, so he went in. So he played like 5 sports, and he got offers from Holy Cross when Holy Cross was good at sports, a couple of different schools. And then instead of taking any of those offers, he decided to go into the Navy, and he was in the
Wow.
Vietnam War and he used to defuse bombs.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
We would ask him like when we were kids, "Hey, have you ever killed anyone?"
Yeah.
And he would just like not say anything.
Would
Yeah.
he would he
Get
talk
out.
about the experience at all, or was he pretty mum about it?
Oh no, he would tell us about the Navy and whatnot,
Okay.
like just funny stories.
Yeah.
Because I mean he was on a ship for most of the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then he came back, and to tie in back into like the mob situation, so he would go and start fishing,
Mhm.
and he would like fish at this one area, and this guy wasn't catching any fish, and he saw it. He goes, "Hey, like I know a spot. Come with me, and like you'll actually catch some fish." And whatever, they start fishing together every other day, whatnot. He goes up to my grandpa one day and he goes, "I want you to marry my daughter." Like, and he's like, "I can't. I actually have a wife."
Yeah.
So then fast forward, my grandpa is managing a boxer in Cuba. So this is when Cuba was like Las Vegas.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
basically, before Castro.
yeah.
Mhm.
So they have their boxer in Cuba, sorry. And someone comes up to him, like, "You need to grab your other manager and you need to grab the fighter and you guys need to get out of here." And it was the guy that he was fishing with, and the guy who he taught or showed him the fishing spot
Mhm.
was actually one of the hitmen for like the mob.
Oh wow.
Yes.
So was he the guy who told them to leave? The guy that the hitman?
yeah. So he hadn't seen the hitman in years.
but then he saw him, and the time he saw him, he said, "You guys need to leave."
Hitman recognized him, went up to him, and said, "Hey."
No, was there a
Good
hit
to see
on
you, but
them?
hit the road.
No, they tipped him off because Castro was coming and the revolution started in Cuba.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they left in time.
That just shows you.
Crazy.
Always do good things, do good deeds. You never know when it's going to come back around.
Yeah, it just had so many good stories about my grandpa. I mean, like, and then also, like, you know how there was a lot of like racism back then and whatnot, but he had someone that worked for him, and he would take him to temple with him, like, and they were boys. Just, yeah, my grandpa would take me to Hebrew school, and they were the ones that, like, they're the glue to the family, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, are you half Peruvian?
I'm half Peruvian. I'm half
Jewish?
American Jewish. Yeah.
Okay. So, were you raised with as Jewish, or were you raised Catholic? I assume they're Catholic.
So I had a
right?
bar mitzvah,
Okay.
but I was raised both.
Okay.
So I celebrate both holidays. Like when my mom would go to church, I'd go to church with her. When my dad would go to temple or take us to temple, I'd go to temple with them.
So you had a Christmas tree and you celebrated Hanukkah.
Yeah, Christmas is the best holiday.
It's kind of the best of both
It's the
worlds,
best.
right?
The rules.
Yeah.
It's
You've
just
got it all.
yeah, It's
100%.
it's I have a couple friends like that who she's Jewish and he's I don't know what he is, but not Jewish, and they celebrate Christmas and Hanukkah and the kids love it. Like
Yeah.
this is the best.
Yeah.
It's like a month-long celebration of everything.
Sounds like Hanukkah.
Yeah, our daughter's birthday that goes on for 8 days. That's really cool.
Whoa.
I'm still following that your grandpa gave up all these college offers. What a patriot. Was it to go fight for his country?
Yeah. So I guess
That's amazing.
it was super patriotic back
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Especially back then. Those are some great opportunities. And then somehow he was managing a boxer. I mean, it's,
I don't know.
You're right. You could
And-
do a movie about this guy.
And an even crazier one is that, so my great grandpa, you know, I said he would eat lunch with Al Capone. It's like corned beef sandwich, whatever. The specifics don't matter. But they lived next door to the Grand Wizard of the KKK in South Florida, and they're Jewish.
Yeah.
And
Oh my gosh.
the Grand Wizard
Mhm.
liked my grandpa so much. He was like, "Hey, you're a good Jew. We'd like to have you."
No way.
And my grandpa was like, "Get out of
In the
here."
KKK.
He's like, "I'm good." Like,
Oh my God.
Thank you, but no.
yeah.
Wow, that is too much. Okay, so you're a South Florida boy. Your roots are pretty much here, like
Yeah.
your family, everybody.
I have a
Right.
question though.
Yep.
You mentioned Christmas is a great holiday. Was it special when you were a kid? Like, did your parents go overboard at all? Or, because we kind of always have, and our kids love Christmas. I'm curious if that was your.
So yeah, Christmas, I wouldn't say they went overboard with presents. We would never get like a crazy amount of presents, but it was just the fact that it was Christmas. Like I was obsessed with Santa Claus.
Yeah.
I made my mom, even when people told me that Santa Claus wasn't real, like, I mean, I guess it's kind of embarrassing, but like middle school, I would literally tell my mom, I'd go, "Say from Santa Claus if you guys give us gifts."
Yeah.
I want to feel the Christmas spirit.
You
It's
were holding on
magical.
to the magic.
Yeah.
No, I think all three of our kids were the last one. Like they held on to it until there was no denying
Santa
it.
is real. It's maybe not the guy in
the
the red
magic.
suit, but the magic of Santa is 100%.
And you keep it
what it is.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had this realization this past week, because it's Passover and also Easter, obviously this Sunday.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But every holiday is so much better when there's like kids involved in it. So
Yeah.
now that like my cousins are having kids and whatnot,
Yeah.
it's so much more fun because, for example, in Passover there's Elijah. So Elijah's the spirit that comes in, and the kids get scarred from it because they'll see a cup of wine. You leave a cup of wine for Elijah, and then he drinks it, but it just disappears.
Yeah.
So the kids look at it and they think a ghost or something is
Yeah,
in there.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's almost scarring to them.
Yeah.
But it's so hilarious.
They
That is
bring
funny.
all the magic back.
100%.
You know,
Yeah.
it's funny because when Dylan was born, Nathan was 13. So right as Nathan had been out of Santa for a while, and then Kaya was almost out of it, Dylan was born. So I think Nathan was 25 and that was the first time in his life he didn't have to believe in Santa anymore for his siblings, because we started it all over again when Dylan was born. And I remember him thinking, this is awesome. This is the first time I don't have to pretend that somebody's coming down into our house, you know. And yeah, it was 25 years of that, but it's fun, you know, when they're young.
It's amazing because you get, when you're a kid, there's the Santa tracker online. So
Yeah.
like you're
Yeah,
seeing
yeah.
where he's going
Yeah.
and whatnot.
Oh, I still pull it up.
NORAD.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we
100%.
come back, we do
We do.
mass and we do dinner, and then I pull up NORAD and we all look, you know, and we
Yeah,
talk, and we talk about, we play Uno and we watch Where's Santa. You know, it's just for fun.
Yeah, no,
You know,
it with the gift giving part, it's so funny. Some of the gifts that I look back on with my mom. So my dad was more like the gift card guy, like
Yeah.
yeah, like heartfelt note, all that. And then my mom would give me. I remember I really wanted a pair of Air Jordans, like obviously like every kid.
yeah.
And then my mom got me a pair of Shaqs, thinking they were Air
Uh-oh.
Jordans,
Oh no.
and those are like Kmart shoes.
Right,
Yeah, yeah.
right.
And I was still stoked about it because I was like, oh, it's a new pair of shoes, whatever.
Yeah,
And then I
yeah.
remember getting like $100, and I go, I could buy. I fully was convinced I could buy a car.
With
I was
$100.
like,
That's hilarious.
I was like, I can get a car now, right?
Yeah.
And then in middle school, I got in trouble. I got like suspended from school or something. And I remember my mom told all my family, like, don't get him any gifts. The only thing I got that Christmas was a Books A Million gift card.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
pissed.
Wait, what's Books A Million?
like the bookstores? Like a bookstore gift card.
A bookstore gift card?
Yeah.
So you could go into any bookstore and buy books with it, or was
No,
that a brand?
That was a brand.
I've never even
Okay.
heard of that.
Me
Have
neither.
you?
No.
No.
So I just had to read books.
So it's books.
I had to buy books for my Christmas
Man,
presents.
she's
She
good.
got
That
my
is
ass.
good.
Yeah.
I don't know if I
Did you
could have
ever get
held to
kicked out of
that.
school again? Or
What?
you ever get kicked out of school or suspended again?
After that, no.
Okay.
So it worked.
I did get in trouble outside of school.
So it worked. Okay, so when they got divorced and you guys are splitting time, I assume they both were in the same school districts. So it didn't matter whose house you were at.
For middle school, for elementary school and middle school, we used my mom's address.
Okay.
And then for high school, we used my dad's address so we could go to Cyprus.
So okay, so it was a little bit longer drive for one of them then, I assume.
Yeah, but it's Weston, so it's like the longest drive you're gonna make is 15 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it didn't matter. And then you and your brother, what, a couple grades separated?
3 years apart. So
So-
he was a freshman when I was a senior.
Were you always in the same school together then?
Yeah.
At some point.
Well, yeah, except middle school. 'Cause middle
Okay.
school's 3
You
years.
never crossed.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you play any sports?
Football my whole life. I was playing football. I started when I was 7 years old, and then till I was 18 in my senior year of high school.
Was there travel? Did
Oh,
you
yeah.
travel football?
Yeah, I mean for like Little League football, so we played AYFL, so that's mostly all teams in Broward County.
Okay.
But then we would play like a tournament in Panama City.
Okay.
And then for high school, obviously, we traveled to, Miami, Boca, like everywhere, just whoever was in our district or our class.
And did you play any other sports, or was it just all football?
I played a little basketball and like soccer when I was younger, but for the most part, it was just football, off season, train for football. Like that was my life.
And was it just a natural love of the game, or what did it get passed down to you from your dad or your grandfather?
Definitely got passed down, but I loved the game immediately. Like that's all I could think about. And that's how I kind of got into, starting to dress nice and stuff. Because it originally started with dressing good for football. Because I remember my first and second
Yeah.
year, I was wearing the wackest cleats you could get, like the most generic cleats.
Mhm.
And then after that, I started like looking at what NFL players were wearing and whatnot, like getting the visors,
Mhm.
everything. So look good, play good, feel good, all that. And then it transitioned to, all right, now I want to pick what I want to wear and whatnot outside of football.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what age would you say that started? That awareness of clothing and how you wanted to represent yourself through clothing?
I would say when I was 10. So starting in
Young.
like 5th grade, yeah. Like I would wear I would start getting nice cleats. I would start getting like nice gloves, like towel on the side, whatever. And then I would always have a pair of white Air Forces. Like me and my friend Santi Ocampo, who's been my friend since I was 5,
Mm,
like first friend in kindergarten.
that's awesome.
he would get the all black Air Forces and I would get the all white ones, and we would call ourselves like cookies and cream or
I love
whatever.
it. I love it.
Was there a specific player you were emulating? Like Deion Sanders kind of made fashionable in football. Was there anyone like that that stands out?
I was obsessed with LaDainian Tomlinson.
Okay.
Like that was my
LT.
guy. That was that's
Okay.
the second LT.
Yeah.
But
I actually was the first LT. I'm a big Lawrence Taylor fan growing up in New York. But is that the first LT? Yeah, I'm a Giants fan. They suck. I hate to say it, but
it's okay. I'm a Dolphins fan. We get a lot of false hope
yeah,
every year.
we're in the same boat.
Yeah, pretty much.
But
so then did it evolve from what you're wearing playing football? You said it evolved into what you would wear to school?
Yeah. So then after 5th grade is when middle school starts. And like middle school is when your hormones are running everywhere. Like
it sucks.
Yeah. You start getting into girls and like whatnot. So during that period of time, there was a lot of like rap culture was like insane. Like I was obsessed with it. And I would find brands like Pink Dolphin, just very small brands that were up and coming that these rappers were wearing. I was like, I want to wear that. And then it was, okay, let me get a pair of Nike Dunks. And then let me get a pair of like Vans. So it started just progressing from that. And then, high school, same thing. Like brands like Stussy started for me. Stussy had been around forever. They're OGs of streetwear.
I remember that. I had totally forgotten about Stussy.
And they're like skate and surf culture. That's their thing.
Yeah, I completely, because you're talking, this would be what, like the 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013 years?
This is like, it had to have been like 2009 to 20, because I got into high school 2012.
Okay.
I want to say. So it had to have been like 2009 to 2011.
So middle school isn't known as being the easiest time for kids. And it certainly isn't known for being the most accepting time for kids who don't want to conform or want to be leaders or want to kind of create their own path. And so when you did that, when you were doing that with fashion, how was that received? Or I guess, did anyone tease you for giving a shit about what you were wearing?
No, not really, because like me and my group of friends that I mostly hung out with, we didn't have like, our parents didn't have a lot of money or whatever, but we would always figure out how to put together an outfit. Like I would only go to Marshall's. My mom would only take me to Marshall's. But we would figure out like, okay, Marshall's has polo. So we can find like these hidden gems, put them together and still dress good. And then I was getting hand-me-downs from my cousin, which like my cousin's like my older brother. So I looked up to him. So anything he's wearing, I think is fresh. And he was always getting the best clothing from his parents.
Yeah.
But middle school in general was just so chaotic, especially the experience that I went through. So like every Friday this is pre-technology or like just getting into technology. Like I had a flip phone.
Yeah.
And people who had Blackberries and Razors were like, oh, like they got it.
Yeah.
So, but every Friday there was a fight in middle school. We would go to DeQuesta Trace Park, watch a fight, and then we would walk to McDonald's and just all hang out at McDonald's.
Every Friday.
Every Friday.
So when you say a fight, other students.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I got into it.
Okay, yeah.
I got into a fight my first week in middle school because I thought that's what you had to do.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. When that happens, because I know down here in Meisner, they have these things called fight nights sometimes, like on Fridays. Yeah. Yeah. Learn that.
Well, the difference too, though, they film them. They have fights and they film them. It goes up on social media.
It goes up on social media.
Yeah.
But when that's happening, is it personal? Did something happen that week to be like, we're fighting on Friday? Or is it more like squaring up for the sport of it?
I mean, it definitely isn't the sport of it.
Okay.
I know how mine happened it was like the first week of middle school, a 7th grader made like a your mom joke or something.
Okay.
and I mean, he was like, okay, let's fight. Because I thought that's what you had to do. And he goes, it was something straight out of a movie.
Right.
He goes, okay, Friday after school. And we were the first fight of the school year.
No way.
So there was this patch of grass on the side of the bleachers in DeQuesta Trace Park. So there were so many students. kid you not, there were probably over 150 kids there.
No
Oh
doubt.
my
Like
gosh.
surrounding us,
Yeah.
and there was kids in the like side of the bleacher so they
Yep.
could see.
Oh my gosh.
And then we get into the fight, they break it up, cops come, obviously, we all like scatter, run, then we find another part to go fight in, scatter again, and then walk to McDonald's like nothing happened.
and
Called it a day.
do you-
Are you guys friends today?
yeah, do you
or
go to
no?
McDonald's together
Oh,
after with that guy, or did you?
Oh no,
Oh no. So it's like
it's
Yeah.
like
It's
he
not like
does
we-
his own thing.
he,
you do your own
okay,
thing.
okay, okay, okay,
If you lose, you're probably not walking to McDonald's.
okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Probably like calling it a day.
But you went to McDonald's.
I went to,
Okay.
thankfully.
Yeah.
Yeah, thankfully. And then your friends are all like, yo, good shit. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
yeah, and then you're good.
So every Friday, some altercation happened
Yeah.
where someone said something or made it like it's almost like you're hoping someone says something so you can be like, okay, we're fighting.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, that's how it was. It was very, we were a hard time for our parents for sure. Like we would
Yeah.
play pranks on the staff, which was kind of messed up. But I remember one time we had, so this is what the 8th graders planned. They're like, everyone's going to go in the courtyard in the morning and do a circle like it's a fight. And then we're going to bait the security guards to come break it up. Okay, so it happens. Security comes in, the cop comes in, the vice principal comes in. Get out of the way, move. And they push their way through. And in the middle of the circle, it's just an orange facing an apple.
Oh my gosh.
That's great.
And they're like, get to class. Like,
But they had to
yelling
have
at-
laughed, right?
I would assume.
No, I would
not-
think so.
Not when they saw it, their immediate reaction, but I feel like behind closed
Yes.
doors,
Yeah.
you have to
That's
laugh
pretty
at it.
creative.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Because it can be so stressful in school, especially middle school. So to have something kind of, then you can laugh about it. So
Oh, for sure.
yeah. So when you got suspended, was that middle school?
Yeah.
What did you do? Do you want to share it?
I mean, is it in? I got caught with weed.
Okay. Okay.
So I got caught with weed, and then, yeah, super.
So that's why
super
your mom
stupid.
was like, because because if it was drugs, she was probably like, screw this, no Christmas presents. We're teaching a lesson.
She's drawing a
about
hard
this.
line.
Yeah,
there.
she drew a hard
Yeah.
line on that
Yeah.
one.
We were selling a little bit of weed.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, in 7th grade.
Oh my gosh.
Or
That's awesome.
7th grade or 8th grade, yeah. And then I remember I had to get put on like a probation program,
Mm.
and we were I would have to meet with my probation officer and be like, what are you doing here? Like, you're the
Yeah.
smartest kid that's come
Yeah.
through this program.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I didn't want to shop at Marshall's anymore. I wanted to get some nice shit.
Yeah,
And then-
I
I'm
can
an
relate. I
entrepreneur.
can
Yeah.
relate.
Your
Yeah, that was your
entrepreneurial-
first
Business.
business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely an eye-opening experience though, because we were washing buses in Tamarack, like as our
Mhm.
part of our probation program. Like,
Oh,
had to get like a visit every week from someone. Like, it sucked, and like it sucked for my parents, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But
But lesson learned.
I think it's done in my growth. Weed.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I was this height in middle school.
Yeah, but that's you're not short.
I know, but I thought my doctor told me I was me 6'4".
Oh, okay.
I was
So
like, what the hell? I was like, I'm going straight to the NFL. Like,
are your parents tall?
my dad's my height, and
Okay.
then my mom's like 5'7".
that's
5'6",
tall. That's
yeah.
tall for a woman.
Mhm.
That's
My
funny.
brother's 6'1".
I love the
That's
fact, though,
funny.
you said you're in 7th grade and you had a probation officer.
That's amazing.
It's pretty epic.
It's hilarious.
That's hilarious.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's you definitely have. I don't know if this is just a Gen X thing. Street cred. Does
Yeah,
only
I
Gen
would
Xers
yeah,
say that?
totally.
For sure. So, but you kept okay. So, actually, how were you in school? How did you do academically?
I wasn't gifted my whole life, and then,
Okay.
but to say I was a straight A student would be a lie. I would get like A's, B's, like a C here and there,
Yeah.
but I just wasn't really into school that much.
Yeah.
To be
Yeah.
honest, I
Yeah.
was just like, I would just get the work done that I needed to get done, and sometimes I wouldn't. And if I had a late grade, I would get a late grade. So
Yeah.
it wasn't had to have been frustrating my parents. Like, my little brother's a straight A student.
Okay. So he was more academic.
Oh,
and-
for sure. Like, engineer from Penn State, all that.
Okay.
He's a
Okay.
beast.
So did you continue with the fighting into high school, or was that just a middle school thing?
Yeah, that was just like the fights that we would get in high school would just be during football practice.
Okay.
Like, we didn't really need to fight, but there was a lot of fights still, for sure. Like,
It's so interesting. There's so much. Is that
Well,
normal for
it's here
young?
too. Our
Yeah,
park right here is the fight zone.
I guess
Kids fight there
so.
all the time.
yeah, the hormones are running
Yeah.
everywhere. Like, and we like had, so we had a bunch of kids that would be busted in too. Like, I
Yeah,
had friends that were not from like great neighborhoods and stuff. So, I mean, they would get into fights, but it was honestly mostly the suburban kids.
that's interesting.
Do,
Yeah.
do you
That's
think the
interesting.
culture's still like that there at the high school? Like,
Um, I honestly don't know.
yeah,
Like, I don't know if you guys have any rivalries like here between two high schools that are really bad.
we do. Yeah.
Like, so we had Western was our rival high
Yep.
school
Yep.
for, yeah, so Cypress and Western, which is like a 15-minute drive from
Yeah.
each
Yeah.
other. Like, I used my dad's address to go to Cypress,
Hmm.
and then my mom's was zoned for Western. But I remember every single football game, like, slammed to the brim. Like, it was like real rivalry, real
Yeah.
like hate,
Yeah.
bad blood.
Yeah.
But we would go to like parties with them. They would come to our parties or whatnot, and there would always be a fight somehow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then for basketball season is the craziest because you're literally confined in an arena, a
Mhm.
small arena, and every single year that we played, or every game that we played, every year I was there, they had to call SWAT team
No way.
because it literally looked like, you know, the scene. Have you guys seen Avengers when
Ye-
they
yeah.
charge each other, or any war
Yes.
movie
Yeah,
when
yeah.
two
Yes.
armies charge each other?
Yeah.
After every basketball game, it looked like that
Oh my
in a
gosh.
parking lot, and it would just turn into like a melee.
Like girls too, or mainly guys?
There was some girls involved, but it was mostly guys.
What now
Wow.
is Western seems fairly blue collar to me compared to maybe Weston. Is that true? Is there a
For sure.
financial divide there?
Yeah, I mean, it depends what part. Like, every part has their nice areas.
Yeah.
Weston entirely is just a nice area.
Yeah.
Like, the people that,
It's like a planned community that's very well planned. It's beautiful. It's clean. It's
yeah,
nice. It's a nice area.
the architect for Disney is the person who made
Mm.
Weston.
Okay.
So that's why everything
Okay.
looks super like neat. And
Yeah. It's
perfect
all
and whatnot.
flows.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then but then the Davie like Western area, there's like trailer parks and stuff,
Yeah.
whatnot.
Right,
So it's like
right.
a little bit different, a little bit more of a mixed crowd.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's where I have a picture of Dylan, probably 4 feet tall, practicing lacrosse with these 6 foot tall guys, and they're on this little patch of grass because kind of wasn't the nicest area.
Yeah.
And this part over here is flooded because it had rained. Remember that picture?
Yeah.
That's from
Yeah.
Western.
Yeah.
Total blue collar vibe.
They switched their whole program up. They're killing it right now,
Yeah.
from what I see. Yeah.
On the football front, so playing football in Broward County, for people that don't know this, it's the football mecca of the country. And so did you have that vibe when you were playing? Like, were you guys pretty good? And
Oh yeah. So we're in 8A, which is like one of the hardest classes because that's where it's the biggest schools. But we played St. Thomas every year.
Wow.
and they're
So-
always good.
St. Thomas, like the year we played them, I played against like Nick Bosa,
Yeah.
Jordan Scarlett, like who else did we play? Like, I watched when American Heritage played against us on ESPN. I was a freshman, so I was on JV, but my buddies played varsity, and I think they had 12 players go to the NFL
Wow.
Yeah.
just off that team alone,
Yeah.
which is insane.
Yeah, it's
And then
nuts.
St. Thomas's powerhouse is
Yes.
probably the most
Yeah.
historic high school in the country
Yeah.
for football.
Yeah.
We've actually gone down to games there. It's been a while, but we'll go down. ESPN will come down. There's teams coming in from like Nevada or California or
Yeah.
Texas.
No, it's the real deal.
It's legit.
What position did you play?
I played defensive end, believe it or not. I was bigger back then.
That's a good position.
Yeah.
So you were going up against guys, right?
I was going up against like left tackles, right tackles,
yeah,
like
yeah.
300-pounders.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you ever have your sights on playing in college?
I did. So to go back to middle school, I was a receiver for the
Mhm.
whole time I was in middle school, and I was this height, and I had like American Heritage come up to me and say like, "Hey, you should come play with us." But I was like, "Nah, I'm gonna go to Cypress and play with my friends because Cypress was good at the time. Like, we
Yeah.
went to states my freshman year,
Yeah.
but then when I realized I wasn't gonna be growing anymore, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna stick to defense.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I could go play for maybe like a D2, a D3 school. And then I really thought about it my senior year. I was like, you know what, like I'm just gonna pass up my whole college experience because like the reality sets in. Like I'm not going to the NFL.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I was
Yeah.
like, all right, you know what, I'm gonna go to college, like, and
Have
do
a
the
traditional college experience.
exactly.
So, yeah, I know you ended up going to Florida State. Did you always want to go there?
So I am the only person in my family to go to Florida State. My dad's whole side is all Gators.
No way.
Yeah.
From my grandma to my cousins. My grandpa went to UM, but everyone went to Florida.
So what happened there with you?
So I didn't get accepted at first to any of them. I thought I was gonna get some like legacy acceptance at UF,
Mm-hmm.
but I had visited Orlando and Gainesville before. I never visited Tallahassee. I knew I was gonna do community college. I just had this feeling. I knew I didn't want to go to Orlando. Didn't remind me of college town. Like
Yeah.
it's
Like
cool.
UCF.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My friend went to Valencia.
Mm-hmm.
And then UF was cool, but the kids that were going weren't like, they're my friends, but they weren't like my really close
Mhm.
friends at the time. And then I remember calling my my buddy Fino and my buddy G, and Fino was playing JUCO in South Carolina, but he had gotten injured or something and he was done. And then my other buddy that lived in Valencia or went to Valencia, I go, yo, I'm really thinking of, you know, moving to Tallahassee and going to TCC and then to FSU. And they go, if you do that, we'll both leave where we're at right now and we'll go with you.
Wow.
Cool.
So we did
That was
that.
it.
That was game over after that. We went straight to Tallahassee. I remember we got there like 2 weeks early before FSU started because
Yeah.
TCC starts earlier.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is sick. Like I
Yeah.
can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And this is before any of the bars or anything were open. So I was like already like, this is
Yeah.
amazing.
It's
And
a
then when
cool
it opened-
town.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then when school started and we were going out and stuff and then going through like the rush process
Yeah.
for fraternity and everything, like it's like the American dream basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you do the pathways, the TCC pathways to FSU, where you go to TCC for like a year or something and then you transfer in?
I did, and then I did horrible my first year. So that's when I decided I was like definitely doing a fifth year.
Okay.
I
Okay.
was like 100% doing a fifth year. And then I honestly took 3 years to get out of 2.5 years to get out of TCC.
You were in a frat.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was in Phi Sig,
Okay.
Sigma Kappa.
Did you hang out with Kappa Sig?
So how we started, like how all the other fraternities started like intermingling and stuff. Like I had friends that joined other fraternities and whatnot, but it's really in the nightlife scene in Tallahassee. Like that's huge in the culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I was broke my first year of school and then like going into my second year. And then I found out how much bartenders make, how much bar and backs make. And I go, I need to figure out how to get this job. And my buddy Tony Marassa was a bartender at Clyde's. And he was like, this is how you do it. He's like, you're going to get a promoter job first.
Yep.
And you're going to just say the most outlandish shit on Facebook for your promos. And you're going to get people out. And that's what I did. I ended up getting a job at Coliseum at the time before they closed it down. And then I went to Baja's, and after that, Baja's, I became the manager of Baja's. And yeah, I mean, it was sick. We were making crazy money every single weekend because of like how much kids go out in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
And I remember before that, I was like eating out of a peanut butter jar, and my friends would offer to spot me, but I was so prideful. I'd be like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to figure it out.
Right.
Like I remember one time I stretched $5 and I wouldn't ask my parents for money because I was prideful. And I stretched $5 in a week. I think I ate a McChicken once a day.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Yeah.
So
but I had money to get like a Four Loko or something.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
drink. Yeah.
priorities.
Yeah.
So did you put yourself through school?
No, I was blessed that I got Florida prepaid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my parents with that was the best blessing I ever gotten.
Yeah,
To like
What?
not have student debt.
absolutely.
Did you were they willing to send you money or able to send you money, and you just had kind of individuated and say, I got this type of thing? Or
Oh, for sure. Like the first year they would, like they paid my rent, all
yeah,
this, but then they're like, you need to get a job. Like
Right,
okay.
right,
100%.
Yep.
Like, cause
right.
I worked all throughout high school and like
Yeah.
a little bit in middle school.
Right,
Like,
right.
From the story earlier.
You know what's funny is we know every place. We've been to every place you
You
just
just
mentioned.
said, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
And I think Kaya, when she was there, you were, because Ali was working at Baja's when she was there.
Oh, so that brings me back to what we were just
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
So that's how I know the Kappa Sigs,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
Ali started working with us, and he was a bar back at first, and then he became a bartender, and then he would just start hanging out with us more, and then he would bring like Spencer around, like
Mhm.
Nate around,
Yeah.
and like all the Kappa Sigs, like,
Yeah.
and then you just kind of like form a group when you're in that scene, with people from different fraternities. So we would have friends that were like in Pike, people that were in Dell, people that were Phi Sigs, Phi Taus, Kappa Sigs. It was just a mixed group of people. It was really just everyone that worked in
Yeah.
nightlife.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're saying it took you, when did you land at FSU officially, would you say? Like what year? Because you were at TCC working towards to get into FSU. When did you officially transfer in?
2019.
So with that, what were you, like a junior?
Yeah,
You were a junior.
I was a junior.
But you were living the Tally FSU life, sounds like, from the start.
Oh, for sure. There's kids that like didn't even go to
Yeah.
school,
And
like,
we're still living
and
that
we're
life.
Still like
Yeah.
in fraternities and
Yeah.
stuff.
There's people our age living the Tally life, and they're
There were
crazy.
Yeah,
There were
yeah.
kids not at school in frats.
100%. Well, I don't know about the frats, but
No, yeah, for sure.
Really?
really,
Oh, that's amazing. That's
It's
a life.
hilarious, but like you don't find out till years later, like to when we graduated.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think, like you're saying, it's the American dream. It's a college town.
Mhm.
It's a party town. There is an academic side for sure. There's
Yeah.
a state government side for sure. It's a party town.
Yeah.
100%. And I
Yeah.
mean,
Now
like,
you're going every night. Isn't there like a special event every night almost you
well,
could
they
go
like
to?
they like crack down now. Like they're very strict. Like, they literally cut down from I think 20 fraternities. I think they only have like 7 right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a change in the Greek
Well,
system.
some shit went down. I'm not getting
Yeah.
into it, right?
Yeah,
Shit
yeah,
went
yeah.
down, so
Yeah.
they tightened down the hatches.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like culture shifted and everything. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say your overall experience at FSU was? All positive, pretty much?
it was one of the best experiences of my life, just because of how tight knit that community is. I mean, like I started YIFNO there with my boy.
Okay, so wait, explain. So when did that happen?
2019. He would go around on Snapchat. Snapchat was
There you go.
was very big, and he would yell, "Yo, it's fucking nice out" everywhere. And then it started catching fire, and I was like, we should put that on a shirt, but the phrase is too long, so we'll make it an acronym.
So he would just film himself on Snapchat walking around outside and be like, yo, it's fucking nice out.
Yeah, he would literally just like trolling, basically, but like, yeah,
Like
yelling it though.
Yelling it. Like
Yeah.
every
was that
day.
just to get views? Just
Just
Oh,
doing
he
that?
was just doing
just
it.
having a good time.
Yeah. Okay.
Just,
cool.
yo, it's fun. Just yelling it and just doing that daily.
Yeah, exactly. So then we did that. That started FSU, obviously. And then COVID hits. We forgot about it. This is like 2019. So we're like, all right, we sold 25 t-shirts.
So you
Peop-
put I'm sorry to interrupt, but the acronym, you put it on a shirt.
Yeah, on the ugliest shirt you'll ever see.
Yeah, and that's YIFNO, right? Yo, it's fucking nice. I want to make it clear. Yo, it's fucking nice out. That's YIFNO. You put it on a shirt and you sold them to your friends?
Yeah, we sold like 25 of them to our friends. And then we forget about it. COVID hits. We're sitting at home doing nothing. And then we're like, hey, let's try it out again. Like, let's drop them online. So we created a website, did 2 drops, sold out on it.
That's cool.
We went and blew all the money because we're at home. We have nothing to do.
Yeah.
Like, we could get a hotel room and just drink on the beach. And we were like, screw it, we'll do that for like a week. And then I ended up getting a tattoo on my leg with my boy who
No
started the
way.
company.
Is
Yeah.
it YIFNO?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's
Of our
awesome.
old logo, we just put a sticker on our thigh. And we're like, just do this.
That's amazing.
And my mom was not happy about that, obviously, especially being a Spanish mother. She hates that I have any tattoos.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And also Jewish too, right? Aren't you? They're not big on tattoos
yeah,
either.
that's not as big anymore. Like
Okay.
you can get admitted. It used to be where you weren't allowed to be in a Jewish cemetery, but
Right.
Oh, wow.
I know now that because of the Holocaust or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
But now I know that some cemeteries are allowing people
Yeah.
that have gotten tattooed because you got to get with
You have to adapt with the times.
Yeah,
Yeah, with
totally.
the times. Yeah.
But yeah, then we did the drops, whatever, and then we go back to school. I go back for my 5th year.
Okay.
And this is what I'm saying, like how like FSU, like we ride for each other. Like anyone that's an alumni there, 100%, like you can meet in any industry, and like if you say for him, if you have the FSU connection, you're good.
Yeah.
So I come back because my boys had already graduated, and I'm gonna throw a pop-up. My friend had a vintage store that he was opening, so I tell everyone like the date that I'm throwing it, and 2 weeks or a week before, he goes, hey, like I'm not gonna be able to open the store in time. I was like, fuck, I already told everyone this.
Yeah.
So I go, screw it, like I'll throw it on my balcony. So I threw it on my balcony in College Town. Well, like the Knoll Quarter, so right behind Sunstop in College Town.
Yeah.
They tore down the building though, but people were coming in and out of our apartment like we were dealing.
That's hilarious.
And then we would do it on Sundays because there was a pool party across the street at recess. So I would just, all right, we're opening shop. You can go here.
At your balcony still on Sundays?
On my balcony, I have like a video of me like writing down who bought what, if they cash apped me, like just running it like that.
Just shirts at the time?
Yeah, it was just t-shirts and then like some girl tops, but some women's tops, but yeah.
I mean, that's cool though. How did you get brand awareness to get the drug dealer line in the building? Just word of mouth, I guess.
Yeah, word of mouth. We promoted it, and like we were in the bar scene, so so I worked at Baja's. I was able to ask them to do, let's say behind the DJ booth, they have that giant LED screen.
Yeah.
I was like, throw my logo up there for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like just cause like,
yeah,
they loved me. So they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, let's do it.
Yep.
And then I would go in and I would have friends that would all DJ. So I was like, yo, throw in a random tag, like it's saying YIFNO or whatever, and like turn right before the beat drops. And,
that's brilliant.
and they would do that. So,
yeah.
So then we were just building it like that.
That's cool.
She had a lot of
Yeah.
support.
Oh yeah, like I'm super blessed. That's why
Yeah.
I say FSU is such a strong community, and it is really like, I mean, you guys know what happened yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
my heart prayers obviously go out to everyone in
Yeah.
the community,
Yeah.
and like I know that FSU is so like tight knit
Yeah.
that whatever anyone needs, like they'll be there. And I made my best friends at FSU.
You
Yeah.
guys are tight. I've noticed that with Nathan, especially.
Yep.
You guys are all tight. You know, like I feel like we've known Ali now for, I don't know how long. We know Abe, we know Ben, Mac,
8 years.
you know,
something
all
like that.
all these people, and they're all tight.
Yeah. No, I mean, are you still tight with a lot of your frat brothers?
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
we still have a group chat that's going for.
Yeah.
I heard Ben say the same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But we have a group chat that's been going on since I was a
Oh,
sophomore.
Ben too. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's an amazing community in any industry you're in. You're gonna meet someone that went to FSU and be
Mhm.
like, all right, cool. Like you know someone that knows someone, and everyone's usually willing to help out.
Yeah. So you basically started your YIFNO business in Tallahassee at Florida State, and from the support of that community.
Yeah, still supported from that.
Yeah,
community.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then you graduate, and where did you go? What happened next?
So after I graduate, I come down to, I moved back home to Weston for like 4 months. I start my corporate job.
Okay.
And then from the beginning of my corporate job, I said I would be out of here by the time I turned 28. So 5 years. I
Mhm.
gave myself 5 years. And then I was like, all right, I'm really going to focus on my corporate job and still do YIFNO. But I'm going to set myself up financially first because I don't want to be like having no money.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, and especially if I need to fund the brand too,
Yeah.
which is taking my money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really locked in on work, and I mean, I had a great experience, but like the corporate, I didn't want to be in corporate.
Right. What were you doing?
I was in logistics. So I was a
Okay.
freight broker. So I was in
Okay.
sales for a logistics company.
Okay.
And like I loved everyone I worked with. They're all cool people, great company. I recently quit. So at the beginning of January. But after college, I was like, all right, how do I bring it down to South Florida with like the same amount of hype,
Right.
whatnot? And I get connected with this guy, and he puts me in contact with the guy that owns a bar. And he said, and they're asking me, what do you think about throwing alumni watch parties?
Mm.
And I was like, I'm down to do it, but I'll only do it if you let me throw a pop up during the summer before football season for my clothing brand.
Okay.
So I did that with a buddy. His name's Austin Hyduke. He had a brand called Black Palms. So we did a collaboration, and we had the whole bar. We picked the DJs, and we sold our clothes in there. And then earlier that year, I remember I went to, so two things that happened that had kind of re-inspired me. I went to Coachella.
You did?
I went to Coachella. I got my boy, gave me a free ticket, whatever. We went out there. I was like, screw it, I'll go. And then I was like, you know what? I'm re-inspired, art, like creatively, whatever. I'm gonna go back and really like put my foot on the gas. Went there, and then we all went to the Belmont Stakes in New York, which is the horse race.
Yeah,
part
cool.
of part of the Triple Crown.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember looking at my buddies and I was like, I'm gonna throw a pop up out here. They're like, are you nuts? Like,
what do you define a pop up as for listeners? What is a pop up?
so a pop up is a pop up shop. So you take over a space. Let's say I can either rent a space, like a storefront, turn it into our own, and it could last. Usually, it lasts only a day for us personally, but some brands will do it for like a week, or like they'll take over space for a month. You could do a pop up literally anywhere as long as you just
like even a tent in the parking lot type of thing.
Like, yeah, that's a pop up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Like,
do that.
like, you know, when we're at lacrosse tournaments and we buy goat stuff and they have a pop up. That's a pop up.
Yeah, no, I got you.
I know you know, and I'm explaining for listeners. But
no, but
yeah,
I think that what you just described is something that a lot of people can envision.
Yes.
You know, but the taking over the storefront, I think that's cool.
Yeah, that's the next level pop up.
Yeah.
So that's what I did instead, or you take over a bar, which is what we did in Fort Lauderdale. And then what a lot of people don't know is that you can make a deal with the bar and you can make money with the bar. So you can make money on top of the clothing and the bar sales.
Wow.
That's
so you get a piece of the tab.
because you're bringing
people
business
in.
to there. You're bringing
How do you display your stuff in a bar?
You just get creative, bring in clothing racks, like start hanging them from random places. But in New York, I said that to my friends. They're like, "You're crazy, whatever." And I was like, "This is gonna be like a real test if I can do it." And I remember I poured all my money into it. I negotiated for the storefront in Tribeca, and it was like a white box storefront, empty. And I maxed out all my cards. I financed a Spirit flight.
Wow.
And then when I got there, I was like, okay, what do I need to do? I didn't even know they had a Home Depot in New York, to be honest. Found out they did. Got turf from Home Depot. Went back to the pop-up or the space that we rented out. Laid everything out. And I was like, if I break even, it's a success.
Yeah.
And then I profited off of it.
Wow. How much merchandise did you bring?
I brought, I think, like 88 pieces of clothing, or 88 to 102 pieces of clothing, in that range. And then, yeah, we like profited off of it, went and like, but that again, that just goes back to the FSU community too, because a lot of my friends flew up for it.
That's amazing.
That's cool.
Which was like, all right, this is like, and then
That's
after
cool.
that, I was like, I can do this.
Yeah.
And then,
how did you advertise for that?
so the person that I rented from was this guy named Afram. He had like a publicist, and she put out something for it. And then we were already advertising on social media. So we like hammered social media with it, different ways, like different videos and whatnot. But yeah, and then we were throwing ones in Miami. We've done Miami a few times.
Is that a brick and mortar building too, or is that more of like an outside tent pop up, or is that in an actual building in Miami?
Oh, when we do pop ups, it's like we'll take over the space.
Oh, so you're always in
like
a building.
I haven't done a market or anything like that.
Okay. So you're setting up like an actual retail store environment.
Yeah, like we'll do like house music events. We've done comedy shows because I was getting tired of only doing house music events, and I saw this company called Kid Super, which is like a pretty the owner of Kid Super is the man, Com Delane. He's a huge inspiration. But what they did was in Paris Fashion Week, they had all the comedians wearing their clothing head to toe,
Mm-hmm.
but that was the runway. They were doing sets, like they would do their comedy set.
Oh,
And then
on the actual runway in their clothing.
yeah, instead of a runway show, it was
Yeah,
just
cool.
a comedy show.
Okay, cool.
But they were
Wow.
wearing their
Very
clothing.
creative.
Amazing. And I was like,
Yeah.
I could do that on
Yeah.
a local level. And
Yeah.
I just figured out how to crack into that.
Have you ever done anything during Art Basel in Miami?
During Art Basel Week.
Basil, yeah,
Basil.
Yeah.
thank you.
It's all good.
Yeah,
Basil,
Ba-
tomato, same shit.
I'm not from here. No.
He's a Jersey boy and he's a Gen
Yeah.
Xer.
I say shit wrong just to do it.
So we're planning on doing something this year. We don't have anything set in stone though.
Yeah.
But to get a space during Art Basel is
Oh, I'm
you gotta
sure.
have some
Yeah.
coin.
Yeah.
So
And probably some connections, I would assume.
for sure.
Too. Yeah.
Like you gotta do like if we did it, we would collaborate with other brands and stuff.
yeah.
But then
Yeah.
also, yeah, so we just did a pop-up method. We did a pop-up in London in October.
You were in London?
Yeah, that one happened. All these like kind of happen on just
Does it just tumbleweed or snowball where it
Yes.
just leads to the next one that leads to the
Tumbleweed, you
next one?
dated yourself.
I know. It's a snowball where the next one leads to the next one, like stepping stones almost.
I don't even know if it's stepping stones, maybe without even realizing it. But I remember a lot in the beginning last year, I reached out to a friend that's from London or lives in London. And I was like, hey, like I want to tap into the community because first of all, fashion's really blowing up out there, specifically like formal streetwear. Music is blowing up out here. They're coming into the States.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, do you know any up and coming artists, DJs, rappers that I should keep an eye on or I could send like clothing to?
Mm-hmm.
And so she sent me a few pages of people. I looked through like some posts and I liked a post from this artist called Jack Marlowe and it was on a Flat 22, which is a record label, and I liked it. And then I get a DM from Flat 22 and they go, how do you know who we are? Like whatever, I recognize YIFNO. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, let's get on a call. I get on a call and the person who answers the phone goes, yo, what's up, bro? And I was like, I fully thought he was gonna have an English accent.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, nah. Ironically, his name's Nick too. And he goes, I went to FSU too.
Wow.
I'm just a couple years younger than you, but I remember seeing YIFNO. Like my roommate had a
shit.
flag in
Wow.
our apartment.
Wow.
Oh
just
my
goes back to
gosh.
FSU again.
Yes.
And I was like, awesome. And like, we had a great conversation. I was actually just talking to him earlier. He's in Brazil, but I was like, okay, I'll help you. I'll throw an event with you in Miami because I have the connections in Miami. We're doing a 5-year anniversary party. Like you can curate the lineup, everything, and it'll be a collab event,
Mm-hmm.
but you got to help me throw an event in London. And he was like, down.
So he's an American in London.
He's from Sarasota.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
And he went, so his story is he went to London to study abroad, and he loved the music scene so much out there that he just like started his record label.
Wow.
Quick sidetrack on that. Did you used to go to Nectar shows? The
See,
New Year's Eve?
I wasn't a bass head.
You weren't? Okay.
I tried, and I just
Yeah.
couldn't get into it. I was more into house music.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is I think it was the one in Atlanta. There were some DJs from the UK.
Yeah,
They were awesome. And that's where I first learned about that UK kind of underground
you
scene.
went?
I did. I used to go with Nathan.
Oh yeah.
No,
I've been to like
Yeah.
4 or 5.
We
Yeah.
went. We actually went together a couple months ago to the one
Yeah.
in Miami.
you're lying.
No,
So
Nathan,
you went to Bass Center?
3 times.
Nathan and I, our first one was Birmingham, him, Ben, and I.
Yeah.
Then we went to, I think,
Yes.
Atlanta,
Yeah.
and then Greensville. or
No,
Louisville. We went to Louisville, Kentucky.
and Greensboro.
Greensboro, yeah.
So they used to go. Just,
I love Nectar
Yeah.
until he got into his
His
weird
thing,
shit. But
Yeah.
the musically, you know,
Yeah.
I like it.
that's like their king.
100%.
Yeah. So he started off just going with Nathan and the boys, and then the last couple times, I would go too. And Dylan was little, And while they were at Bassnectar, because it was New Year's Eve, Dylan and I would have a fancy dinner in the town we were in. So we would have our fancy dinner while they're all at base, because then Kaya started going, our daughter.
Yeah.
And so it was like a tradition. Our New Year's Eve, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
pretty
Wherever
funny,
Bassnectar is, the whole family's going.
Oh
Yeah.
my
And
God.
you have to edit out last name. But
You'll have to remind
Yeah.
me after this. I'm not going to tell the story,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I've
do
got
it
a funny one
after-
about Nathan
after.
and Ben up in Birmingham.
Oh my God.
but then a few months
Nate
ago-
never told me this.
Yeah,
What the
Yeah.
hell?
then a few months ago, he was in Miami. And so
Yeah,
we
yeah.
went with
New Year's.
Nathan and
Yeah.
we went not to the
Well, I mean, that New Year's
we were
run.
there for New Year's, and we were with all the boys, like Ben and Nathan and a bunch of Colin and a bunch of
That's so funny.
kids.
It's funny,
yeah.
right? Because
We were
when I would
dancing.
go, I was the only dad. But to your point, all those kids, they're kids to me, right? You guys are all kids to me. They would give Nathan you sure your dad? And they're like,
Mhm.
no, he's cool. And so I fit right in.
When we were
Is that
there,
an undercover?
yeah,
well,
right.
That
that's
type
the
of
funny
guy.
thing.
Yeah.
Every time I went, there's about 5 guys there my age,
Mhm.
and the kids thought we were narcs, and the cops all thought we were drug dealers. So it's like you're walking around,
Yeah, it's funny because in the New Year's one,
semi-solo.
we actually had two kids come up to us, a guy and a girl,
Yeah.
and they were like interviewing us, like in a way, like, so why are you here? And
Yeah.
did you just come here on your own? Like we were lost.
Yeah. It's funny.
Sure, you're at
We're
the right
like,
show.
no,
Yeah.
yeah, and we're like, no, we enjoyed. Like, is this your first time? We're like, no. So yeah, but so that was our exposure, and Nathan DJ'd.
Yeah.
I forgot. So he exposed us to the DJ world, but he wasn't really into house music, at least then. So we
Yeah.
didn't get a lot of exposure to that. Although we did go to EDC and
Nice.
Universal, or not
Yeah.
Universal, Orlando.
Orlando.
And there was a decent amount of house music at EDC.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like
Yeah.
half and half. I
Yeah.
mean, I tried getting into that bass scene a little bit, but it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I like house music.
It's
I mean,
intense.
it's sick. It's
Yeah.
sick though. Don't get me wrong. Like I could take some of it, but some of it's way too heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it for sure, for sure.
Like one of my
is.
buddies, the one I started YIFNO with, Tony, we went to his bachelor party in North Carolina, and Nate and all of them told him that this one DJ ruined everyone's time. Like everyone got freaked out by this one DJ. And we're sitting there and we're having a nice dinner. We're at like Roos Chris or whatever for his
Yeah.
his bachelor parties or whatever.
Yeah.
He was like, I want to go to this. I was like, why? He just told you that his set ruined everyone's time. He's like, yeah, I want to freak out there. I was like, it's your bachelor party. We'll go. We'll go. We went, and it was insanely bad.
Oh no.
I thought it like for
Yeah.
me personally, and we were like, and him and our other boy, they're like, we're gonna stay, and we're like, you're sure you guys are gonna stay? Do
Yeah.
you want us to stay? He's like, nah, you guys can go. Like, I want to
Oh my
sit through
gosh.
this.
Oh
Like,
my gosh. That's dedication.
I have a question just to go back to your UK experience. What are the logistics there? How do you get your product there? How do you deal with the financial transaction part of it and converting money back, or is it all cash? How do you do that? Mostly the product side. How do you get it there and deal with it?
So I just had my manufacturer send it straight over
Yeah,
to London, to where my buddy was staying or
Yep.
lived. Because then it would just be like a whole thing to do it from America to here.
Yeah.
I got samples before that were on point, so I was able to promote the product a little bit, like tease it.
Yep.
And then in terms of like collecting money and whatnot, there's Zelle, Cash App, anything like
Yeah.
that. But we also have card readers, so they can just tap to pay right there.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's a very seamless process now.
Yeah.
But even though sometimes when you want the tap to pay to work, it stops working.
Mm.
That happened to us
It's the worst.
at Billy Strings.
Yeah,
right?
we were trying to buy something from someone and it stopped working
Yeah.
for him, and he was like,
Fortunately,
Yeah.
I had other credit cards on
Yeah.
me, so not a
Yeah.
big deal.
Billy Strings is gets sold out immediately. I remember I was buying tickets for my cousin. And he was
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, we
every
love
single time.
We're up
love
in
Billy Strings."
St. Augustine for 3 days. My
Yeah,
buddy's
that
up
was
in
great.
North Carolina right now.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's
jealous.
sick.
Yeah.
So you started YIFNO, did you with your brother or with? Because I know
No.
you
He
said
just
he's a
texted
part
me.
of it. Who did?
Carl.
Oh, so we'll edit that out.
Yeah.
No, I don't-
No, it was your friend at FSU. You said, right? The two of you, or just
Yeah, it was just
okay.
us two first, and then
And what's his name?
Tony Marassa.
Tony. Okay. And then then did you acquire more partners in this business?
No, like we had gotten offers from people like trying to invest, but like was able to back it myself,
Yeah.
and like I think it gets messy when it's too many hands in the
No
pot.
reason to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially at the stage that we were at. So it was just us two, and then he kind of didn't really want to do it anymore. So I was like, I'm gonna keep running with it.
Yeah.
And then my brother had his own brand in Penn State, and then he was like, oh, like I want to get more involved with YIFNO, like the kids like it out like here, whatnot. And when he graduated, for his graduation gift, I gave him 5% equity.
Wow.
I was like, here's congratulations, like like
Oh,
whatever.
that's cool.
Nice.
And then he goes, okay, but I want to be a part of it. He's like, I want to like help you out and whatnot. I keep saying whatnot, but I go, yeah, let's do it. So he takes care of like the graphic design. I sit there, we'll go over and we'll design everything together. But he knows like the technical part of it, like how to run Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator,
Cool.
which I refuse to show myself.
So it's the two of you.
It's the two of us right now.
So it's a
in
family
terms of partner,
business.
yeah, but we have a team now.
Okay.
So, and then he takes care of like the accounting and everything.
Wow. That's great.
Because I hate that part. But we have Mika, who does creative and styling, and she does our women's lines, because we released a bikini line last year, and her and this other girl Lily, but it's mostly Mika right now. And then we have my friend Fino, the kid that I told you went from JUCO, moved in with me at FSU.
Yeah.
He's been my friend since I was 11.
Yeah.
And he is the vibe engineer, and he handles the logistics of our events.
Okay.
And also I throw him in the videos because he's actually a good actor. And then we have our videographer Gonzo. We work with a couple of different videographers, but he's like my main guy. And then my buddy Justice has done work for us in the past, and he's like going to be one of the best directors ever. He's nasty. He does music videos and short films.
Okay.
And then we are launching a like radio station, but it's a playlist on Apple Music and Spotify. And I have my friend Vince, whose DJ name's Triz, and he'll be curating the playlist. So we have that too. So we're doing different aspects. And we're just building the team.
So you've created a culture. You're creating a culture.
Yeah, we're world building right now. So like,
yeah,
I'd like to think that, yes, I'm building a brand and I'm building a business, but for the most part, everything's been built on community. Like it is fully a community of people. Like we have all DJs and creatives. We reuse, like not reuse is not a good word for it, but we work alongside with,
right.
We collaborate with companies. Like it's just about, growing the community now. Like it's expanded from just being my group of friends buying the shirts,
right,
to people that don't even know who I am that are buying the shirts. Like I've had.
I hear it now. Is it that?
I don't know.
You heard that, right?
The static?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something with your phone. Okay, sorry. You're gonna say like I've had.
Oh, so sorry. So it's gotten to the point where people that don't even know who I am are buying the clothing. Like I remember I was at a festival at 3 Points 3 years ago in Miami, and I was walking with a couple of my buddies, and some kid stopped me, and he goes, "Where'd you get that?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And I was pretty drunk at this point.
Yeah.
And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, I've never seen that design before." Like,
no way.
and I was kind of like confused by the whole situation, and he goes, "Yeah, like some kid at FSU started it, and like started like telling me my story."
That's awesome.
Wow.
Was he accurate?
He was, yeah, he's very accurate. And I was like, he goes, "So how'd you get that?" I was like, "I made it. Like it's my brand, me and my buddy's brand." And he goes, "Can we take a picture?" And I was like, "Yeah." And it was such a surreal moment, and it was very inspiring.
That
like,
had to have been so surreal.
I was shocked. I was like,
I'm sure, to have someone tell you about you.
Yeah.
And that you've inspired them to the point where they are sharing about you, and it
Yeah.
happened to be to you. That's amazing.
And it's not like we're a huge brand. So I was like, yo,
Yeah.
that was cool.
Yeah.
My buddy that was like, dude, I'm kind of pissed that happened to you because your head is gonna get bigger than it already is. Like,
No, but I think when there's a brand that's authentic and does good things, they people aren't stupid and they see stuff for what it is, especially Gen Z and younger millennials.
mhm.
You guys, you don't put up with shit. And so if you see something that's fake, I think you can figure that out pretty fast. And so it makes sense that you've acquired such a strong following because you're coming from a place that's real, and I think that people feel that and see it, whether it's through the clothing, through the designs, or through what you and your team represent. So I'm not surprised, because usually with that, you have a loyal following, obviously,
Yeah,
if he approached you like that.
super
So
cool. I mean, it's just you can tell when someone's not genuinely doing something,
yeah,
and you can tell when these companies are trying to do cash grabs and whatnot, which a lot of companies do. Like, there's hundreds of brands that came out of FSU, and they're there today, gone tomorrow type
yeah,
of deal, or brands that you see on Instagram. And if you're not pouring the money back into the brand or into the community, it's not like I'm here to create something
yeah.
that I'm able to like pass down to my kids.
I have a
Hmm.
question on that. So, just your organizational structure. I know your brother has an equity stake, but are you the rest of it? Are you the owner with him?
Yeah.
All right. So what's cool? I mean, you spoke about your team, and you get it already. You're a young guy,
hmm
but you get it already. The value of your team and being inclusive about them and recognize their importance. Pretty cool
Yeah.
that you've got that already. Um, not totally sure where I was going, but it feels like the entrepreneurial side of you've got this worked out where you've recognized your one piece, your role. You've built some other roles around you. How'd you kind of figure that out? How did you say stumble into that, or how did that evolve?
And how long did it take you to get from A to B, like to really get to this point, would you say?
Well, honestly, I'm still figuring it out. So
True.
it took a long time for me. Well, not a long time because we've been around for 5 years, like 4 years of really taking it serious. But it took a long time for me to like trust people with the brand because at the end of the day, it's my baby.
Hmm.
Hmm.
But I'm a firm believer that like people really want to help. If you ask someone for help, they're gonna help you. And like people were just openly wanting to help. Like, for example, like I met Mika and she's dating my cousin, but before she was dating my cousin, she is cousins with one of my friends from FSU. So
Hmm.
we're there at a Super Bowl party, and then I just see like, oh, she's really good with clothing. She's good with styling. I was like, oh, like, would you be open to like being part of the team? And then Fino's my best friend, so I'm obviously like, yo, I want you to figure out a role for you. And figure
Right.
out a role for him. My brother's my brother, obviously. Gonzo, I met 2 years ago on a video because his business partner couldn't do it. And I've known his business partner since high school, Matt Liebman. And he did a shoe with me and we clicked like that. So we were like, all right, cool. You're, you're on the team.
Yeah.
Vince, who's doing the YIFNO FM. I've known Vince since I want to say a freshman in high school.
Mm.
Maybe we crossed paths in middle school, but um, I've always wanted to do work with him. Like I only work with good people. Like I refuse to. Like I've turned down collaborations.
Hmm.
I've turned down um, opportunities where I could have made a good amount of money just because I didn't like the vibe of what was going on and it didn't
Hmm.
feel authentic. I think I think there's a balance of finding out. Yes, you should take these opportunities, but there is a lot of opportunities that you shouldn't take because in the long run it's going to hurt you. Like
Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
you can make the money right now or you can let it marinate, let it
Yeah.
grow and like keep to your authentic vision.
It's it's an interesting thing because we've had some opportunities and we're in that. Well, we started this like a year ago, like we were talking, right? And it just happens, and then you start here, and now you're here, and it's gone pretty well. I think, you know, better than we ever anticipated or imagined. And there's those opportunities, and to your point, we're like, okay, it's got to fit and it's got to feel right and feel good, or else it's just not going to happen. So it sounds like you're applying that same logic. You know, it's almost a gut in a sense.
Yeah, 100%. And this is your guys' baby, I'm sure. Like,
Yeah.
in a sense, I mean,
Other than our 3 babies, yes.
yeah, exactly. But like, this is like your guys', this is your
Something
thing.
we've
Yeah.
created, yes.
Yeah. So, and you want it to go in the direction you want it to go to.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've done, like, for YIFNO, it's been a lot of development. So I have the first shirt we ever made to shirts that we haven't even released yet, and it's night and day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the brand, it used to be more like, I mean, fratty, if you want to say it, lack of a better word. But as we're getting older, like, those don't align, those values don't align with what I want. So I can't be fake and promote something. Like, I remember when we first moved down here from college, I was getting offers from people to throw events for spring break. And I said no every single time because I didn't want to be a college brand. I wanted,
Smart.
yeah, like, I wanted to be a household name. I don't necessarily want it to be like, I don't want it to be the biggest brand in the world. If it happens, it happens. But I want it to stay authentic to who I am and who the team is and who our community is.
How, with that approach, how are you scaling it? Like operationally and say marketing wise, what's your strategy there to scale?
So we don't take any money out of it. Like, the only time we'll take money out of it is to pay the people that are actually working on projects that we need to pay. But we'll just continue to snowball it and roll it into the next collection. So let's say one collection sells X amount, we'll put it into the next collection, and that collection is going to sell more than the last one because there's more money into it. So that's how we've been scaling. I mean, down the line, at some point, I mean, unless I hit the lotto or something, we're going to have to get an investor.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've always been weary of it. The only way I would take an investor, I think, is if it was a strategic investor. Like, it needs to be someone that can teach me something about growing the business.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. Because right now I'm still figuring out the operation, still figuring out, like, fine tuning certain things,
Yeah.
like getting everything down packed. And that's why at, like, last year's when we really started, like, building a team up, because at the end of the day, yes, I can figure out how to do everything, but for me to do everything, it's not going to be all great, but I can get great people and put them in the position to do those jobs.
Yeah. You can't scale it if you're doing everything.
Yeah, I don't have the bandwidth.
spread
You just don't have, there's not one
yourself
time in the day.
too thin.
Yeah.
Well, and your team, you've been able to vet all of them. Some of them you've known since you were 11. So that's a nice way to, but it sounds like the people you've surrounded yourself with are you can 100% trust, and you can go back to where you've met them and it was in a real and authentic way, and the relationship is real and authentic, and being able to trust people around you in this situation is priceless, I would assume, you know, because people get screwed over all the time in business.
100%. I mean, my people know that are on my team, once we get to that level, everybody's gonna eat.
Yeah.
100%. And we've been blessed with opportunity. Like, we are, me as a person and we as a brand are extremely resourceful because of, like, people we know. That goes back to people are willing to help.
Yeah.
Like, one of my friends, we did a photo shoot or a video shoot on an airboat in the Everglades. My buddy Matt, his older brother owned the airboat, and he let us use it for the shoot.
That's cool.
So, like, people think we have these crazy budgets for shoots, but it's like we're getting blessed.
Yeah.
Really, like, people are just letting us use their space, letting us use, like, props and whatnot. And, like, you could have $100,000 budget and not know what to do with it and figure out how to blow all the money. Or you could have a smaller budget, like, let's say, like, a $2,000 budget, and that forces you to think on your feet and and it unlocks that creativity within
Yeah.
inside of you to figure it out.
So as far as creativity, because there's got to be a feeling of pressure, right? To come up with the next thing, or even the next video. What are we going to do? The next line. Do you ever encounter creative blocks with that?
For sure. Like that was one of the biggest obstacles I had to learn to overcome. But to overcome the creative block, you need consistency. So you need to keep doing it. But I also do think you need to take a step back sometimes and like give yourself a little bit of a break. Because right, yeah, hustle culture is a real thing. And I think, yes, you should be working on it as much as possible and put your full effort. But if you're just burnt out, you're going to give people half-ass product
Yeah.
because you're not there fully. So sometimes you need to take a break, not look at anything. That goes back to like doom scrolling. Like if I'm doom scrolling, I'm looking at a bunch of other things and I get influenced by it. So I'll put my phone away, not look at it, and just start writing down ideas that are more original.
Mhm.
So then we'll use that, and that's usually when I do my best work.
Do you ever get a break? Are you ever able to unplug from what you're doing?
Football season.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Good
like
answer. College or pro or both?
I love both. I mean,
Yeah.
you know how hard it was with FSU this year, though.
Mm.
Yeah.
We're trash, but
Yeah.
but a football the first football Sunday every year falls on my birthday week.
Yeah, cool.
So that is literally I work crazy in the off season so that I can enjoy Saturday and Sunday football.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because there's nothing better than waking up knowing you don't have shit to do.
Yeah.
And then you go to Publix, you get all your junk food. You can talk to Nate. Nate see me eat a crazy amount of food. I've eaten probably 5,000 calories in front of him.
That's awesome.
In a sitting, and then sit there for 7 hours of commercial-free football until then going into the night game.
Yeah.
And then that is my full palate cleanse. I'm back on Monday. I'm back and I'm ready to get after
Yeah.
it.
So
Okay.
it's the off season now. How much do you sleep and how much do you work? What's your balance?
I probably work on YIFNO probably on average 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. Then you have to factor in working out, eating. I've been better with my sleep. I used to only be able to sleep like 5 hours a night.
Yeah.
4 or 5 hours a night, sometimes 6. But now my sleep's gotten better. So I've been sleeping 7 hours.
That's great.
6 to 7 and then if 8, I'm on like top tier level.
Yeah.
Like it's unreal.
Really?
It's like you took
Yeah.
a drug, right?
Yeah.
If I get 8, I'm dead. I've
No.
overslept. If I get less than I got to have 6. That's it.
Yeah, if I get 6 to 8, I'm on the ball. I wake up, I can get
Yeah.
out of bed and just immediately start working.
Yeah.
But if I get like 9, 10, like you might stick a fork in me, like I'm done for like
Totally.
Yeah.
yeah, it's chalk.
8 feels like I can take on the world,
Yeah.
honestly. So as you were building this brand, how did you get over not caring what others think? Like, how did you continue to believe in yourself and believe in this dream, and not get imposter syndrome, or not be worried about what others might say, or they might judge you?
I think it starts with not comparing yourself to other people, especially when it comes to like the brand. For me, it wasn't really me comparing myself to other individuals. Like I've always had extreme confidence in myself,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, there is moments where like I had imposter syndrome. Like, oh, we would do a big event or it would be a success, but then it's like, yeah, but it didn't do this. So it started being like in my head a little bit, like,
Yeah.
okay, what's the next thing? Which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a blessing and a curse. It's like, okay, what's the next thing? How can we improve? But you need to really take a step back and be in the present moment, which is something I've learned over the past year or two of just like, okay, I'm here.
Yeah.
This is sick. All my friends are here. I have so much support. Like I'm blessed to even be in the position that I am, and it could always be worse. The thing that I think people lose sight of is like caring is cool, especially if it's something that you love, like a brand. If you like tuning cars, like literally
Mm-hmm.
anything, as long as you love it and
Yeah.
you care about it, it's cool. There's a lot of people that will try to be like, there's like this whole like nonchalant thing that's going on, which is like, all right, like you're too cool for school. Like I get it, but it's to a certain point. Like if you don't care about what you're doing, then who else will, type of deal.
Right.
Like people are gonna see right through that.
Yeah.
If you're like just trying to, only some people can pull off the mysterious, like, oh, I can drop a collection or I can drop a song every 5 years and it'll always be a hit, and I'll have that like super
Yeah.
strong like fan base, community or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But for the majority of people, that's not how it is.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Right. So are you saying that there's kind of this mystery trend in brands happening where people are trying to act, not trying to act, but are just acting like they really don't care, and it's
I think it's
whatever.
in general. I think people are
Okay.
like, all right, like, yeah, I'm gonna be kind of like low key, like on purpose though. Not
Okay.
because there's people that are just naturally like that.
Oh,
Like,
so
they
you
don't
mean
want
like
you
in
to.
life, just having kind of a vibe of just like
Yeah, and it's
whatever.
yeah, it's like brands that'll do it sometimes. Like when brands will say they don't want to post whatnot. Like yes,
Mm.
certain people have certain aesthetics, but it's I think a lot of times it's an excuse not to do it.
Well, I think what
Interesting.
you're describing is different. I almost feel like you're saying there's some people that are just full of shit in there. I'm trying to be low key because it's my shtick and I'm full of shit.
Mhm.
And then there's other people who just are that way, and it's genuine and it's authentic, right? In some ways, they may be the creative genius who can pull that off, and it's real,
Mhm.
and it's like, wow, that's really cool. But then there's other people just full of shit, and they're
Yeah.
trying to do it, and you can tell the difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can give an example of like a rapper. So there's rapper Playboy Cardi. Super, your Nate definitely knows who Playboy Cardi
Yeah, and
is.
so does
I feel like I've heard them.
yeah,
Yeah.
and no, it's not a them, right? It's
It's
just
him.
yeah, it's a
He's
No, I
him.
mean the names.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
what I
our
meant.
youngest 15-year-old.
for sure listens
Yeah,
to
Yeah.
him.
yeah.
So he just released an album for the first time in 5 years, but he is like off the grid. No one knew where he was at. If you would pop up somewhere, you would see a photo of it, but it was like very, very rare. And
Mhm.
he has an extremely loyal fan base,
Mhm.
and he barely shows his face sometimes.
Hmm.
But he's able to do that. That's creative genius.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if you're able to do that, that's your thing. That's amazing.
Right.
But there's a lot of people who will try to adopt that, and then they're just kind of shooting themselves in the foot because that's not who they really are.
Right.
And
The-
then I see it a lot with like, I mean, I guess I can kind of correlate it to like, when you have friends and stuff that are starting companies or brands or anything, and they seem like they're going to take it serious, but then in reality, they just pick it up and put it down after a few months or whatever, and they're
Mhm.
not really taking it serious. So when we were starting out, and even to this day, people are like, oh, like let's collab on this or let's do this, and then it took time for me to be like, if you're not going to take this as serious as I'm taking
Right.
it, why would we work together? Like you're my
Mhm.
friend still, I love you,
Yeah.
but I'm only going to be working with people that are taking what they're doing seriously
Right.
just as much as I am.
Mhm.
Right. It's almost getting past yourself and your ego and not caring what others think and caring about your work and investing in your work and not giving a shit about anything else.
Yeah, I mean that's because at the end of the day, like you're your biggest critic at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You're gonna judge yourself the most.
Yeah.
So it's kind of getting over that hump. And I mean, I'm sure most people go through it. I definitely went through it. I could go through it sometimes still. Like I'll be looking at a video that I post, and I'll just sit there, and the clip might be a second long, and it takes me 20 minutes to post it because I'm
Yeah.
like, is
You
the
question.
angle right?
Yes.
Is
Yes.
this how are people gonna look at this?
Yeah.
No one's really
Yeah.
diving that deep into
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Right. It's
So-
so true. And you can paralyze yourself with that.
Yeah.
So you have to at some point be like, this is my creation or our creation, and it almost doesn't matter how it's received because we're proud of this work and it's coming from us, and our job is to put it out there, and it's supposed to resonate with, it will resonate with. And if it doesn't resonate with some, it wasn't meant for them. So we're trusting that it's going to end up in the right hands, you know.
Yeah, you explained that beautifully. I just have a voice in my head that goes, "Stop being a bitch."
Yeah.
Really, and like honestly, like I've had in my whole life where it's like you're being a bitch right now. Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Just trust the universe. It's going to end up where it's supposed to.
But I
Agreed.
think
You
that
know.
that inner voice is what comes through,
Mhm.
right? Maybe it's quick. Don't be a bitch. You just summed up in "Don't be a bitch." What's that? 4 or 5 words, but she took 50 words to say.
Yes.
But it's
Yeah.
the same impact, I think.
So you said you sold out of, did you sell out of everything in New York when you went up there?
No, but we
But you
profited.
profited.
Yeah.
Have you had a situation where you've sold out?
Oh yeah, we've sold out on a collection in like 24 hours before.
No way.
Yeah, it was but we've also had collections sell out in 24 hours, and we've had a collection that we drop and you sell 3 t-shirts.
Right.
So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
that's why if you're in it for the long haul, you're in it for the long haul. Like it sucks when you put that much work in
Yeah.
and then it's like a couple of your friends bought it because they're your friends.
Right.
Which I mean, obviously appreciate that more than anything. But then it's like, all right, how do we fine tune this and get it to where we're selling out in 24 hours or selling out in a week or selling out in 2 weeks or even a month? Like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, this is the long game.
It's a marathon, not a
Yeah,
sprint.
exactly.
Can you think of what you would consider your biggest lesson so far, or one lesson you've learned so far, or even if one's too big, a couple?
I would say perfectionism is the killer of progress.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep.
So if you're sitting there and overthinking, like what we just said, basically,
Yeah.
that's going to stop you from moving forward. That's one thing, like
Yeah.
you're getting in your own way.
Yeah.
It's not going to be perfect. It's better if you put something out in the world rather than hold it back until you think it's perfect, because it's never going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And then another lesson.
That's a pretty good one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think my buddy told me this once. He said, sometimes you got to dig yourself a hole to see if you can get out of it.
Mm.
So I think, yeah, you have to keep messing up, and you got to be able to take losses, because without those, you're not going to win. You need to know what it feels to lose, so you can know what it feels like to win.
Yep.
You can't
Yeah.
have one and without the other.
Yeah. And you only experience that if you are challenging yourself, if you're living an authentic life, if you're participating in life and not being an NPC, honestly. Because if you take the safe way always, you're never going to really know what that true joy and accomplishment feels like if you're just kind of staying flatline.
Oh, for sure.
And there's huge risks there, and there's downs. It can get dark. But then, like you said, you know when it's light, you know when you're up, and it's such a great feeling of accomplishment. You can't describe it to someone, right, until you're there.
No, it's euphoric.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. So when you sold out of collections, was that online?
Yeah. So let's say we'll always drop the collection online. And then if it's one of our major collections, like our spring, summer, or fall, winter, we'll tie an event to it.
Okay.
So we'll always give people that go to the events first dibs on it. And if we need to make more of it for the online, we'll make more of it for the online. But if we don't sell out at the event, then we'll push the stuff online as well. But we also do collections that are strictly online based.
Okay. And besides, you're past t-shirts now, right? You have t-shirts. I call them t-shirts or shirts. What else? What other apparel?
So we've released jackets. We've released work pants, like utility pants. We've done obviously hats, hoodies, sweaters, sweatpants, women's tops. We've done women's like sport dresses kind of deal.
Mm-hmm. Like athleisure.
Athleisure.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we're dipping into, for our new collection, we're going to release like silk scarves, like silk bandanas.
Mm.
We've done bikinis. We're gonna do swim shorts for men, button downs. We're gonna start doing as well, and then
Kind of like what about what you're wearing right now? Are you going to be released?
this is just a blank. So
Okay.
like we may or may not do this,
Okay.
but we have one right now in the works that we're releasing short sleeve and long sleeve, and then yeah, I mean, just
That's
we're
amazing.
continuing to up the quality on everything.
We're
That's amazing. Honestly.
important question here. Where can our listeners buy your product? Where can they find it? I'm going to put it on the
Yeah, we'll put
YouTube
it
for
everywhere.
sure, and we'll
yeah.
make sure to blast it out there. But where?
YIFNO.com.
YIFNO.com. All right.
Yeah.
YINFO. dot.
Yo, it's
YIFNO.
Yeah, sorry.
Yo, it's fucking nice.
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
So you said you quit your job
Got
in
above myself.
January. That is so you are ahead of your goal, right? Because you said before you turned 28, you wanted to do that, and you're 20. Am I right there?
27. Yeah.
And you're 27.
Mhm.
So you're ahead of the goal, which is congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But was that a little terrifying to make that decision, or did you jump in with both feet, no problem?
For sure, like it's less security.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, like I had my job, but I mean, I was ready when I went in. Like it was a little nerve wracking, but I went in there. I looked at my manager, and my manager's good, one of my boys, good people. He's like, "Damn, I thought I had you for like one more year, man." And I was like, "It's time, brother." And then I just left, and honestly, it was like a weight off my shoulder.
Because then you can completely devote all your time now to YIFNO, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was already basically doing it when I had my job. Like I would do everything I needed task wise at work, and then I would just like
Right.
start
Yeah.
doing my thing. Like,
How is that though? Now having all the time to devote to YIFNO.
oh, it's amazing. Like I wake up every day. Like I wake up every day regardless, happy that I woke up.
Yeah.
But the fact that I can go and have the freedom to do what I do now, it's insane. Like I'm moving to New York on May 5th.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Why did you make that decision?
I've lived in Florida my whole life. I'm young.
Mhm.
And then also to grow the brand, that's the next step. And I'm always going to be back and forth between New York and Miami.
Mhm.
Excuse me. New York and Miami, because we can't just neglect our community down here. So
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
still going to throw events here. We're still going to have a collections based in here. But then also we need to grow the seeds that are out in New York that we've already planted from the first time we did a pop-up out there. And then also it's the fashion capital of the world.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like if you make it there, you're good.
That's what the song says.
Literally. It's true though.
Have you done anything since that first pop-up up there? Have you done anything else up there?
No, I haven't, but I have a lot of friends that do events down there. Like we're gonna do a pop-up at I don't know if I should like I'll
yeah.
give you guys the inside scoop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna do a pop-up at my friend's restaurant at some
Okay.
point. Like
Cool.
yeah, we're gonna do some cool things out there for
Very-
sure.
Now is your whole team going up with you?
No.
Okay, so they're staying down here.
They're saying yeah, we
Yeah.
don't have the funds to do that.
Okay.
yet.
So when you need, so you guys, obviously the world is now easy to work wherever you are. You guys will be able to still do everything you do together. And you said you'll still be down here as well, going
Just
back
a
and
plane-
forth. Yeah.
Playing right away.
Playing right away. So and you have a community up there of friends already?
Yeah, I
So
have a good
that's
amount
cool.
of people up there. And anyways, my brother lives in Boston, so
Oh,
we
nice.
operate
Okay.
through like Google Meet and stuff.
Okay.
Cool.
Or when
Okay.
he comes to visit. Yeah,
So that's exciting. This is a huge moment for you.
I'm very excited.
You've quit your job. You're fully in with YIFNO now and are moving to New York. That's amazing.
Thank
Like
you.
that's pivotal. And you're at the beginning of another
Well-
phase of this business. It's exciting.
Think about it. You were saying what you had to stretch $5 or something like that in FSU. Now you've got this brand, it's on its way, and you're heading to the fashion capital of the world. It's fucking awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Appreciate
you
it,
should be
guys.
so
Seriously.
proud of yourself,
Yeah.
honestly, because this also required you to make some smart and probably tough decisions at times, and you did that as well. This doesn't just happen. So the people that you surrounded yourself with, and taking risks, and having the courage at times to not care what others think and just go for it. So hopefully you can be present in this moment and really see it for what it is, because it's a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate that first of all, but yeah, I've just been soaking it in. It's as the days get closer to it, I'm very, very excited. And I mean, again, we're gonna be back and forth.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be a snowbird. We'll see.
Yeah, just not an annoying one at Costco,
No,
please.
no, I'm good.
Yeah, run
So,
into you getting free food.
yeah. Do you guys do any are you involved with any charities, the business or with you personally?
Yeah, so we host a charity basketball tournament every year. Well, we're 2 years in now. We're gonna host it our third one up in 2026. But it's named after my friend that passed away
Mm,
in 2020. His name was Gerard Reed, so we call it the G Classic.
mm,
Nickname was G. So it's called the Gerard Reed Foundation, and
mhm.
we donate to the Boys and Girls Club of Broward County.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so we do
Uh,
a full basketball.
Is that
tournament.
something? Is the foundation something you started or something his family started?
I started it.
You did.
I started it with my friend Fino, my buddy Anthony Palermo, and Santiago Campo.
Where did you learn to give back like that? Because that's really mature. I think seasoned. Not everybody does it. There's plenty of successful entrepreneurs that never get the concept of the community and giving back. Where did you get that?
So throughout my entire life, even since I was a little kid, my mom was always involved with charity, my mom and dad, but specifically my mom. So when I was 3, 4, 5 years old, she would take me to Peru and we would go to orphanages and I would go and like give toys to kids and like play with the kids and stuff because I was a baby too. And then when we moved over here, she was a part of the Rotary.
Mm.
So they would do a bunch of charity programs and we would always be involved with that. And then when I was in college, she got involved with an organization called Ángeles Unidos en Acción, so Angels United in Action, where they would give back to these really impoverished communities in Peru, like these little villages that didn't have clean water. So we would go out there. Well, I wouldn't go out there. Like you need to get military access to go out there because of how bad it is. My mom
Wow.
went once, and they give them all backpacks, school supplies, computer, and like running water and irrigation systems. So there's a water tower in Peru that has like a giant YIFNO.
No
No
way.
way.
Yeah, I have a
You
picture.
slid
of
it in there?
It's thick, yeah.
That's
That's awesome.
amazing.
Yeah, so we did that, and we every December will donate like a big portion of our profits to their organization for the holidays, like for Christmas.
Awesome.
YIFNO does?
Yeah.
So in addition to the charity basketball, you still are supporting in Peru as well.
Yeah. Right now it's a little bit difficult just because of like the political climate out there, but once it gets a little bit more cleared up, hopefully I can go out there.
When you can.
Yeah, I want to go
Go
out
out
there
there.
for sure. You gotta-
How proud is your mom of you and what you've accomplished?
I think my mom and dad are pretty proud of me.
Yeah,
I
I
mean-
should include your dad in it too. I was just thinking of her as the entrepreneur, but I bet your parents are super proud and supportive of, right?
Oh, extremely. Like I
Yeah.
have the most supportive parents in the world. Like obviously they want me to live out what I want to do. They're going to be sad that I'm going to New York
Yes.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yes.
Like I can tell,
Yes.
but they're like, go, like
Yeah.
you need to go do this.
Yeah.
If you feel
Yeah.
like you need to go do this, then go do it. And they've supported me throughout my whole life. Like they're the people that built the confidence within me and my little brother. So
Yeah.
100%.
yeah.
Yeah. And I love that you and your brother are in it together. And I know they love that too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool. So is there a concept behind, besides yo, it's fucking nice out, but is there another concept behind the brand? As far as I thought something with the senses.
Yes. So get some water.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Here, do you need to pour more for yourself?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, so the plan is we just came up with this plan this year actually is we want to touch on we're world building, right?
Okay.
So we're a brand, but a good brand creates a world. So the five senses, hearing, sight, smell, touch, and
Taste.
taste. So right now we're working with this company or this girl that makes candles. So we made our own scent.
No way.
So we're gonna start introducing that in all of our pop-ups, and then at some point we'll release it to the public, but we want to relate the smell with the events. Like you won't smell that unless you're at the event.
Brilliant.
And then we're looking to partner with a wine company to do white wine, because white wine is more of a daytime drink rather than red wine. I like red wine, don't get me wrong, but that's taste right there.
Yeah.
And then the touch is the touch of the clothing, like the studying over here. The fabrics we use is the touch. The sight or seeing is the icons we use, the graphics we use, and then for
Hearing.
yeah, it's the curated playlists.
Yeah.
So YIFNO
awesome.
FM. So that's the 5 senses right
That's
there.
brilliant.
And then we like to say the phrase "go outside," which is literal and figurative, because at the end of the day, like, yeah, you need to get outside, you need to touch grass, because there's a lot of people that lock themselves in their houses, and I think that is a gateway to depression right there.
Yes.
For sure. And then you need to go outside and like meet people and whatnot. And then the figurative sense, you need to go outside and get out of your comfort zone. You need to go start that business you wanted to start, go start doing that hobby that you love, or teach yourself like how to play the guitar. So like,
Yeah. Challenge yourself.
yeah, exactly. So get outside of your comfort zone, grow. It's all about growth.
Grow. I love that. And again, I know you're saying you're world building, and but to me, it's like you're creating a culture. It really feels that way. And I love that you are connecting all the senses back to your brand, because it's also brilliant marketing too. Business wise, it's a brilliant concept, but it's all encompassing. So that's great. I love that.
Yeah, it's really cool. It fits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
It just fits.
Now I know when sometimes when our youngest, they're into, you were talking about shoes in the beginning, and he went through this whole phase in middle school. Now those shoes though that they were all wanting to wear were like $600.
Sneakerheads.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, we would go on like StockX, Goat, and all that, and I would see resell. Have you ever seen anything like that with your stuff?
Yeah. So just recently, I think it was a month or two ago, there's a site called Grailed, and a couple of our
Grailed?
Yeah, Grailed.
Okay.
And a couple of our shirts got put up on there. It's like StockX. It's like StockX, Grailed, and another one that they do all the resales in. And like 3 of our shirts were up there for like 60, $70, and we sell them for 45.
How did you find out they were up there?
My buddy sent it to me, and then he showed. I posted a screenshot of it on our Instagram. He said it's sold, like it actually sold. I was like, that's
awesome.
That's sick. And then another buddy of mine was in Austin, Texas, and he was going through a thrift store, and someone had repurposed like an original YIFNO shirt, like one of the first ones we did, and like sewn like 2 different shirts onto it, but like the main one was YIFNO.
So it was your shirt.
Yeah.
And then they took 2 other shirts, and
yeah, it could have been our shirt, or they could have just printed the logo on it. But he was like, that's nuts. This is in Austin. That was a cool moment as well.
Did he buy it?
Yeah. And
yeah.
No, he didn't buy it.
Oh.
No, I didn't want him to buy it. I wanted to just be there.
You just wanted to be out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, we've sent, like, this sounds a little weird, but I was so happy when I had to send 2 cease and desists. I was like, this is like a good sign that something's working. We had to send one to some golf brand in 2021, 2022, and I didn't realize they were using our stuff or using YIFNO till like a year later.
So they had sold stuff with YIFNO on it.
Yeah, they were selling like club covers, and then another company was selling hats, and they literally did our description, and then I reached out to them and I was like, yo, can you stop doing that?
Yeah.
Were they domestic or foreign?
Domestic.
Oh shit.
And then the foreign one was Urban Dictionary, but they're like, I don't know where they're based out of, but it was cool seeing our stuff on Urban Dictionary because it's hilarious. Like like our generation grows up looking at Urban Dictionary because there's funny shit on it.
Yeah.
And YIFNO was on it.
No way.
But then you go to the merch section, they were selling like shirts and mugs, and I sent them cease and desist letter too.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That is a huge compliment though.
Yeah.
Oh, I was stoked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is your team, is there someone on your team that's kind of always watching out for that though? Just, or is it, do you just happen to, does someone happen to see it and alert you?
No, so when I heard about SEO, so search engine
Yes.
optimization, I was like,
Yes.
what's that? And they're like, dude, just Google your name. So I Googled YIFNO, we own everything. But then when I saw on Urban Dictionary, I saw it. And then I saw at the bottom of the search, those two companies. And I looked at their pages and I was like,
That's interesting.
I think
you can use
technically
that.
speaking,
Yeah.
you can set up alerts. So if something pops up, you'd probably be able to get in a proactive alert on it.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
I did. So we trademarked it in 2019. Like I trademarked it, and like my cousin told me I didn't have to. He's a lawyer and stuff. He's like, you guys aren't like big enough for it.
Yeah.
I was like, but at some point we will be.
Yes.
And I'd rather just get it out the way now. And thank God I did,
Yeah.
because
100%.
we have the legal trademark of everything.
Yeah. I would, yeah. Trademarking that is smart.
Yeah. I have the paper framed.
That's cool.
Good.
Yeah.
So this has been 5 years in the making? 4 years?
5 years. We've been
5
around
years.
since 2019.
So all those years, 2019, 2020, 2021, 22, 23, 24, is there a year that stands out that was maybe the hardest or the best or both?
Yeah, I think last year. I mean, it gets better every year. It's just, it gets tougher when it gets better because there's more challenges and more things you need to overcome. And then there's more of a bigger standard you need to go by
Mm-hmm.
because you've already elevated the brand to a certain point. So it's like, all right, how do we make it bigger than before or whatnot? And then obviously things like happen in personal life. Like my mom was going through health issues last year. So me and my little brother were literally making collections in a hospital. So like, but people didn't know that.
Yeah.
So we were like, all right, but it was the best year in terms of the quality of clothing we were making, the videos we were making. We were making short films that, like, the short films we were making in 2023 were good, but like the ones that we're making the year after, when we learned how to be better at it, were put the other ones in the dust.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it was definitely last year, and I met so many people. We did the pop-up in London, which is insane. Like the fact that people even showed up to it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just
That is cool.
what I would say.
It's that's good. You had good problems.
Yeah, good problems.
Other than your mom being in the hospital, but good problems from the success. It might have been more stressful or whatever, but it's because of the success of the company.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's such a blessing.
Yeah.
When
No.
did you make the video that's on the homepage? Because that's pretty cool.
So we made that video in November.
Okay.
So my buddy that I told you about, that's a director in LA right now. I grew up with him. I played football with him. He was my neighbor. His name is Justice Silvera. And we did a 3-part series. So it was called the Pants series. And our manufacturer didn't get the pants to us in time for the shoot, because it was a 3-part series. So the first shoot, and we're trying to like workshop our way through, like, okay, we can't do this video now because he doesn't have
You need
pants.
pants.
Yeah. So we were like, all right, what if we do where he's running through the streets with no pants, looking for his pants?
Mm-hmm.
So part 1 was
That's clever.
my friend Grimaldi.
Yes.
Yeah, he was running through Las Olas without any pants.
That's
and
hilarious.
we were getting like live reactions of people. The video's in slow-mo, so you can see people like looking.
Not naked, I
I
assume.
assume he had
but-
underwear on, right?
No, he had underwear.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
No, we were
You get arrested.
Yeah, we don't have bail money right
Yeah,
now. So then we did the second part, and John couldn't do it. He couldn't make it to the shoot. So I called Fino, and I was like, yo, I need you for the shoot. And it's kind of weird telling your friend, because I didn't tell him until he got there. I was like, listen, this is going to sound super weird, but we're going to need you to be in this video. You're going to have your pants off.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, stop fucking with me, bro. Like, what are we really doing? And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, like, for the video, this is the plan. Give them the whole breakdown, and thankfully they agreed to do it. And then the third one, which is on the
hilarious.
site, he finds his pants.
The
It's
pants
just a
shut
guy-
up. You
yeah,
guys got the pants.
Skid Ramon did it, and yeah, we've been we've been super resourceful with like what we had. The Mercedes that's in that, the vintage Mercedes, is a friend of mine, Nick Napoli. Thankful that he let us borrow it.
Yeah,
it's a sick car. So
it is. It's a cool video. I like it.
Thank you.
Now up in New York, you'll have a brand new landscape to use.
Yeah, for sure.
That'll be really cool.
I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh, it's limitless up there.
The videos and the creative part is honestly my favorite part, or one of my favorite parts of the business, of to do that, to put together the video. Obviously the clothing and the collection being complete is in itself is amazing.
Yeah.
But being able to make the video, especially with my friends,
yeah,
it's hilarious because it's just, we don't take ourselves too serious. Like, yeah, we'll do like the cool guy post, like showing off the clothing, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's more, YIFNO isn't a brand where we just take ourselves too seriously. Like, you need to have fun with it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Because that'll come through.
100%.
Yeah. So when you guys have pop-ups, is it just you and your team working the pop-up, or do you hire temporary employees during that time?
It's usually me and my team, but as time goes on, like, we're probably gonna hire someone we're doing a pop-up April 27th. My buddy has a record label called Groovers Only, and it's gonna be at Mr. Baguette. So I'll probably hire someone for that, just because while the pop-up's going on, I'm gonna have to be directing a video at the pop-up to bring to life this recap video I want.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give too much away because I want it to be a surprise for people, but yeah, it's gotten to a point where like I shouldn't be the one that's, you know, taking like selling the product by hand.
Right.
Because I've done that, and I'm willing to do that obviously still if needed, but
that's part of scaling.
Exactly.
Yeah, got to scale.
So that's the next step.
Yeah.
Right. No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I had a question. I forgot.
So with all of this that you've been involved in, and basically building your business for the last 5 years, and being Gen Z Zillennial, how do you find time to date? Are you on the dating apps?
No.
Okay, so you're going old school.
So I tried the dating apps. I've never been on like a Hinge date or a Tinder date, anything like that. I think it's good for certain people. I also am not just Xing it out, but just that it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't feel natural, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it does work for people. And I think, I'll probably end up on it for some time, check it out, maybe delete it again. Like, who knows?
That seems to be the pattern. Whenever I talk to, we say kids, but we know you guys are adults, but kids in your age, they download it, go on it, delete it. And it's a pattern because it's just, you're kind of hoping this time it'll be different. But it seems that everyone that we've talked to your age still really enjoys it, things to happen organically, old school. They really don't, the technology isn't working for them, which is ironic because you're involved in such a technologically based world. But when it comes to dating, you guys seem to still gravitate to, I'd like to just meet someone naturally.
Yeah, so what I will say is social media is a good platform for that. So like if you know someone and you've met them before, and like you've talked to them, you think they're cute, or like you've had a good time with them, you could ask them on a date through the dating app. Not the dating app. You can ask them, swipe on their story and be like, hey, do you want to grab drinks?
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's nothing that beats like the actual human connection, which is the reason we do, like, not to get off topic, but there's a reason we do in-person events.
Right.
Like, I think people were so cooped up during COVID and couldn't go outside or couldn't like mingle with their friends or meet different people, that at the end of the day, we're humans. We're, what do you call it? Social creatures.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the traditional way is still the best way.
And craving that connection.
But I think the new traditional way is you meet someone and then you might swipe up on their story.
I think you're right.
It's like a hybrid approach.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it is.
Yeah.
I think it's a combo.
Yeah. So dating, I mean, I find time for dating. I'm very, very selective,
Yeah.
especially now on who I spend my time with.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like family, friends, like it's hard to balance it. But if it's the right person or someone I'm really interested in, I will like
Yeah.
be like, hey, let's go grab drinks. Like, let's go on a date.
That happens as you get older too, no matter what's going on. You value your time more and who you spend it with. It's just because you only have so much time in the day. So if you're going, it really has to matter when you're giving your time away. Whether you're running a business or not, it just happens as you get older and you just don't have
Things
as much
just
time.
have to fit. I say it all the time. It just has to fit.
Yeah.
The music you listen to has to fit. The clothes in your choices has to fit. Who you're dating has to fit. Who
Yeah.
you spend time with has to fit.
You don't have as much time to quote unquote
Yeah.
not waste, but it's just you fill up your life. And so
And we only have such
Yeah.
short amount of time
This is
here.
it.
So it's like, all right, if I'm gonna go all in, it better be worth it.
absolutely. And I just am so happy for you that you started this at such a young age. The time you have to build this and grow it continually, there's so much of it for you because you discovered this at such a young age. And that's really exciting because in 10, 15, 20 years, it's like, where will this be? But it's there for you to take advantage of. You have the time to take advantage of that.
For sure. It's a blessing.
It
The
is.
blessing of youth.
100%.
I mean,
Yeah.
knock on wood.
Totally.
100%.
I hope I
Yeah.
have a bunch of time left.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So before I ask,
I actually do have
Okay.
some questions. So you heard the Greenfield episode, right?
Yeah.
Or the Ben one.
the Ben one.
Yeah, sorry.
The nomad.
He talked a little
anymore.
bit about the corporate stuff and how he was done with corporate. And, on the socials, we had a lot of reaction to that and in his favor of corporate's messed up and I don't want to do it. And what advice would you have for, say, kids in a sense, younger than you, even other people for starting your own business or getting into it and maybe toeing the line? You'd had your corporate job while you were growing this. Do you have any advice to offer any of our listeners? Because it's a hot topic. People don't want to do the corporate thing. They're looking for something else.
I would say don't get sucked into the thought process that feeling bad for providing for yourself. So, yes, like corporate isn't for everyone, but it is for a lot of people. Like people make careers out of
Yeah.
it for a reason.
Yeah.
But if it's not for you, but your business isn't making any money, you need to make money somehow. So like you can, yes, you can go full throttle and just, hey, this is it or nothing. Or you can still do that and have that safety blanket of a corporate job. Whether it be a corporate job, whether it be working at McDonald's, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't feel ashamed to provide for yourself. Because if your money's not right, then it's going to transition to spill over, transition to every single aspect of your life. And that goes for if you're starting a clothing brand, if you're doing music, if you're doing anything creative and you're feeling like shit because you can't provide.
Starving.
Yeah, you can't provide for yourself. That's gonna do one of two things. It's either gonna bring something out of you that you didn't know you had, which is best case scenario, or it's gonna make everything in your life worse than it already is.
Yeah.
So I think my biggest advice when it's like toting that line of having your own business while working corporate is don't be ashamed to provide for yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you see on social media where it's like, I quit my 9 to 5 to do this, but like, okay, you did that because you had your business set up and you were able to provide for yourself.
Yeah.
Or someone else was providing for you at the time. Like not everyone has that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I didn't have that. My parents cut me off like in college. They're like,
Yeah.
you're going to figure it out.
Right.
So it's again, don't feel ashamed to be working a job and then do your business and get your business to where it needs to be, where you can quit your job and just go full throttle, go balls to wall, because you have the time in the day to do
Yeah.
it. It's the classic
It's great
work your
advice.
9 to 5, then you have your 5 to 9.
Yeah.
Such
You
great
know,
advice, especially for younger people, like people getting out of college and in their 20s with social media and the FOMO and also the illusion that people create. I quit my job and I'm in Italy on a Tuesday, and no one is sharing the behind the scenes of, are they being funded by family, or are they being funded by building up their business and now they can quit, but you're not sharing that. And it's this it's very it can be very misguiding to people.
yeah.
Yeah, it's all perception. I mean, there's no shame in people that have that.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
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 that's amazing. Like everyone has their
Yes.
own situation, but
Yes.
if that's not your situation, that can be very misleading, like you said,
Yeah.
and it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. You start comparing yourself a lot if you're on social media like that, and it's easy to compare yourself when you're at your corporate job, you're making only like 40K a year, and you're scraping by, and then you're going online and you're seeing these people are on like yachts and
Yeah.
like traveling over in San Tropez, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. But at the end of the day, you gotta play with the cards you're dealt with,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's up to you to figure that out.
Yeah. 100%.
You know what's interesting is we've had guests from other generations in our boomer, Lou.
Mm-hmm.
His answer was work. You got to work. If you want a house with a nice backyard, you got to work. Had another person on who was living in New York, and it was really just you got to hustle, and hustling and working. You're saying kind of same thing, different flavor in a sense.
And that can be subjective I mean,
Yeah.
you were building your dream while holding down your financial situation.
Yeah.
That's work.
Yeah.
It's like double work, triple work. So, but I love what you said. Don't be ashamed to provide for yourself.
Yeah.
That's great advice. It's such great advice. So,
Another question.
Yeah.
Everything you're doing, directing videos, right? Designing brands, collaborating and partnering, growing your community, trusting folks. What's your background education wise in terms of when you went to FSU, what's your degree in?
International affairs. I just wanted to get a degree
Yeah,
and get out of there.
there you go.
If you want me to be super honest with you, the reason
Yeah.
I did like international affairs because I liked going into philosophy classes.
Yeah.
Because I love philosophy. I mean, I'm pretty big. I love reading about Stoicism, like
Yeah.
Marcus Aurelius, all that. I got really into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just needed to finish what I started, and
Yeah.
especially for my parents.
Yep.
But also for myself.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I changed my major 3 times. I thought I wanted to be in
Yep.
finance because that's where the money's at, and
Yep.
I had friends that were in finance, and I was like, all right, clearly not that great with numbers. Let me go to econ. It's
Yep.
like a more toned down version of finance, quote unquote. And then that didn't work out. So I was like, you know what? I'll do international affairs.
Yeah.
If I could have done it differently in terms of the only thing I would have done different for school wise, I would have majored in entrepreneurship,
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
like a more of a business degree in
Mhm.
that sense. But other than that, I have no regrets in the route I took,
Yeah.
because if I didn't take that 5th year, and I don't we probably wouldn't be sitting here right now,
Right.
because that was when I started doing pop-ups,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that was like an in-person experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
speak Spanish?
I do. That's like my ace in the hole.
So, did your mom only speak Spanish in the house?
Yeah, growing up, my dad would speak English and then my mom would speak Spanish to us. And then when I went to college, I lost a little bit of that Spanish. And now
Mm.
that I'm back, I make her only speak Spanish to me,
Mm.
because
Oh, really?
yeah, because I was
Yeah.
it was showing that my Spanish was getting worse.
Mhm.
I was like, I want to take advantage with what I have now, because it's
Yeah.
one of the biggest blessings I
It's a
have.
gift.
Yeah, it's a
It's
new
an
language.
absolute gift.
Like I understand everything perfectly. Like I've been in negotiations with people where they'll sidebar and start
Yeah.
talking Spanish,
That's
and
awesome.
then when they come back, I'll start speaking Spanish to them,
I love
and they're
that.
like,
That's hilarious.
Oh, I'd love to witness that.
Yeah,
I'd
so
love to see that
I look
stuff.
like I sing country or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
That-
said something early on, very Spanish fluid, Steve.
it was
So-
money doesn't sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So, and that'll help you in New York. It'll help you everywhere.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
It'll help you everywhere. So that is a gift. Your brother too.
Yeah, my brother too. I definitely want to learn a different language, and it's good that they're all Latin derived, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're able to pass by.
They say once you've learned one, it's easier to learn the rest.
Oh yeah, I
You
worked
know.
at a retail store in Sawgrass, and most of the clientele was Portuguese
Yep.
and Brazilian.
Yep.
So I would speak they would speak Portuguese, and we would negotiate, and I started picking up on it pretty
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
And then when we went to Italy, I was able to like pick up on the words pretty quick.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Last thing I have,
Okay.
and it's really just so I don't forget, we can cut this out if we want, but
Okay.
in New York, if you go out the Lincoln Tunnel
Mm.
and you're heading out to Jersey, the first exit, you go down the hill, take a right up to the top, and it's a great spot for overseeing the city skyline and shooting a video.
Oh, Weehawken.
Ooh.
It's Weehawken. It's technically, I think, East New York is what they call it, but it's in the Jersey side. It's an absolute perfect view of downtown Manhattan.
That's a
You
great.
agree, right?
Yes.
Is it in
yes.
Jersey City?
It's in no, well, no, like she's saying, it's like Weehawken, Secaucus, East New York. All these little towns roll together. You don't know
Okay.
where the hell you're at, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But that's why I say you come out of the Lincoln Tunnel, head into Jersey,
You
take
can-
the first exit,
Yeah.
get to the bottom of the hill, take a right up to the top, and it's.
We can
I'll
like.
keep this in so you can come
Yeah,
back
but
to
we'll
it.
also maybe get more specific and email. I'll get it to you because
Yeah, I need that.
we used to take Nathan and Kaya into the city constantly when we lived there. And then when we would leave, that was our first stop. And
Yeah.
we would stop and stare at the city and take pictures and just stare at the city.
Yeah.
But you're right. For
Yeah.
videos.
There's another one too. We'll give you the fast track offline on how to get to the top of the Empire State
Mm. Yeah,
Building
there's a
in
trick
10
there,
minutes
too.
instead of 2 hours.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
but one thing I will say is I'm moving to New York not to have a good time or anything like that goes
Yeah.
with it. I'm moving to New York to work, like,
yeah.
Yeah.
to blow this up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can incorporate the city into your work.
For sure. This is the next level.
Yeah. Like
Oh.
even artistically and with
Yeah,
all of it. It's
100%.
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you done?
I think so.
I always make sure before I ask my last question because sometimes he's like, I had more questions.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Okay. So my last question is always, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I see myself back in South Florida.
Mm.
I have my own home. I mean, ideally, I would like a family.
Mm-hmm.
Started a family, just starting a family. YIFNO is a household name within the fashion industry, within the industry itself, whether it be music, fashion, just in the creative field. And I'm surrounded by the people that I'm surrounded by now. I don't think there's cooler people than my friends.
Mm.
At least I've met like a good amount of people, and every time it's like, yeah, I could go chill with this person, but who's like a decent sized name, but I have like Fino, Ali, Santi, all these kids, Kodo, like people like that, Corn, like Tony, like the list goes on. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to leave any names out and then get yelled at, but
Yeah.
Right.
but I see myself in 5 years is just the position I'm in now, just taken to like tenfold, hundredfold.
Yeah.
And then I want to be able to travel all over the world whenever I want, when I want, wherever I want. And yeah, I mean, it's just like have the American dream,
Yeah.
really.
I think those are all wonderful goals and I can see them all happening for you.
Thank you so much.
Definitely. And I think what you're doing with YIFNO will, especially the traveling, will give you that opportunity as well. You're not going to be tied down to one place. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, no, I am personally very excited to see where you go with this. And again, I think you'll look back on this time and you'll see this was probably the beginning of this, whatever is about to happen. This was that moment right before it did. So I feel very honored that you're here sharing your story with us, your life story thus far. And you took the time to share it with us because it gave us a window into the YIFNO world. And now we get to go along for the ride by
Yeah, I'm
standing on the
excited.
sidelines and cheering you
Yeah.
on. So
No,
Yeah.
I appreciate
Thank
you guys
you.
having me on. And I mean, if it doesn't happen in 5 years, it could take 10 years,
Yeah.
20 years.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
It's happening.
Yeah, I love it.
It's happening.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
At some
you're
point.
in it. It's
It's
happening.
not about if, it's about when.
Exactly. And you know, John Lennon, I'm sure you've heard this, life is what happens to you when you're busy making other plans. It's happening. You're in
Yeah.
it right now. So
I'm
I think it's
excited.
very
Yeah,
exciting, very
it's awesome.
exciting. And I'm glad Nathan got a new hat because that one was the
Yeah, that one was a little
I was
rough
like,
after a while.
so no.
Drop the name again. I won't fuck it up.
YIFNO, YIFNO. Yo, it's fucking nice out. YIFNO.com. We will
Yeah.
put everything in the description on the socials, but check out YIFNO.com. It's awesome. It's an awesome clothing brand. And again,
You know, too, though, I hit extra plug. You heard the conversation about giving back to the community.
Mm.
So I think that's huge. It's when you buy and support a company,
yes,
it's the right thing to do is to support companies that are here, that are local, and that support local causes and global causes.
Yeah.
It's a good purchase.
Well,
Appreciate that.
and I love the 5 senses concept.
Yeah, totally.
I think that is just so unique and original. And so I'm excited to see about the wine. Yeah, I'm gonna keep my eye on that
we'll
one.
Get you guys some
Yeah,
samples.
yeah,
Maybe we'll
yeah, no,
start
that's-
drinking again.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Be a good excuse.
Yes, I'll drink that. But that's really exciting. But yes, to your point, this is a brand that's coming from an authentic place, a good place. These are good people, and I would be very proud to support your clothing
Yeah.
brand. So,
Thank
you know,
guys.
we wish you you and your team all the luck, and we hope to have you back on when you have some time, maybe in 3 years, 5 years, whenever, to kind of chronicle where you're at now, you know, when you come back. So,
We got to circle back, and I want to give you guys your flowers. You guys are absolutely killing it.
oh,
Like,
thank you.
This was such a great, I wouldn't even call it an interview. It was a great conversation. You guys,
That's our goal.
yeah,
Thank you.
you guys made me so comfortable. It's ridiculous. I feel at home right now.
Oh, that's
Perfect.
wonderful. No,
Yeah,
we are just so honored that you shared your story. So thank you for taking the time for that. And we
Yeah.
can't wait to have you back.
I'll be back.
So to our listeners, please leave any comments or questions. And especially if you have any questions about YIFNO, leave those and we'll make sure that Nick gets you answers, or we'll get answers from Nick. And but keep your eyes open for YIFNO.com. Go check it out. And we will see you
Look
next.
for your local pop-up.
And yeah, and for your website will tell people when you're having pop-ups and stuff, right?
Yeah, the best place to find everything is Instagram and TikTok for us.
To follow you on
we'll
Instagram and
put that out there.
TikTok.
For sure. at
Okay,
YIFNO.
yeah, we'll put it all up. But Instagram, TikTok, go check out YIFNO, and we'll see you next time. Bye.